Well, we're here at Bowlers in Manchester for Manchester Reloaded, and Pat Barrett, this has been a long-time dream of yours in a way, to bring big-time small hall boxing to Manchester. It's on talkSPORT for the first time. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's going to be an electric atmosphere in here, a title fight, top of the bill. I mean, tell us how long this has been in the making and what this means to you to be able to give boxers this kind of opportunity.
You know what, this has been a long time in the making. I mean, I've been involved in promoting for about 12 years, and now I can actually do it myself rather than signing fighters off. You know, I think this is an opportunity to bring small grassroots boxing and giving grassroots boxing the opportunity to actually do something with it. And you know, thanks to talkSPORT for getting behind us and supporting grassroots boxing. Now we can show what we can do.
Well, of course, I had the privilege of being able to begin from grassroots and the small hall shows on your shows when I started my professional career and got the opportunity in the end to go to Zimbabwe and fight for a Commonwealth title. These are the important opportunities, and not stepping stones, but where they get that grounding and they get that experience to go on to bigger things, which you want for your fighters.
Yeah, man, could you imagine if I would have had this when you was boxing, where you would have come from here? I could have showcased, and you know, you're absolutely right. But now I feel like, for instance, one of my own, Killeen, yeah, for me to actually do this, for him to be on this now, I'm amazed. Kyle Davies, one that we promote, manage, work with, again, is another one of ours, which, you know, Muhammad Ali, who we've got on the next one on the 30th of May. I'm ecstatic with it.
And just finally, I mean, just give us a bit of a heads up about, you've mentioned Killeen, he just walked in before and was really taken aback by just how fantastic Bowlers looks this evening. I've seen Kyle Davies as well, he's all smiles and that excitement and nerves. I mean, who should we look out for this evening?
Oh, both of them two are under us, you know what I mean? Most of the fighters will be out, but you know, the platform is not just our own fighters, we've got other fighters on it, like, you know, we've got Abdul Khan, yeah, which is not Black Flash, but it's another platform where you get to see another kid coming through, and it's what it is. We've got that platform where kids can come across and get off and go where they want to go.
Well, Pat's ready, the fighters are getting ready backstage, we're all ready, the music's on, and we're set for a fantastic night of boxing here at Bowlers for Manchester Reloaded.
Hello there, and a very warm welcome along Black Flash Promotions on talkSPORT, and it's Black Flash's first ever event live on talkSPORT YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Stacey Copeland, Spencer Oliver and myself will be rattling through some fantastic action. Kieran McDaid, Abdul Khan, Amir's cousin Owen Anderton, Alex McMillan, I've seen him a fair few times before, really good prospect. George Killeen, undefeated. Kai Dawber, and then the big one, Kyle Davies against Mickey Ellison. It is a terrific night, Spencer, isn't it, to be here to see these hot prospects come through.
Absolutely. Listen, this is all about grassroots and how much, you know, we want to support the grassroots on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, and this is tomorrow's champions, and hopefully we get some of those.
Stacey, Spencer and I will be back after Aki Karim.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Manchester for an evening of championship boxing. Presented to you by Pat Barrett and Black Flash Promotions. This evening we are live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing, and proudly partnered with our sponsors, Exigo, Cooney Installations, House of Gold Productions, Rival, Manchester Joinery and Magna Projects. This 7-bout card culminates in our main event of the evening, 10 rounds scheduled for the vacant Commonwealth Silver Light Heavyweight title. And your officials this evening are as follows. Your stewards in charge are Sally Say and Ian Metcalf. Your timekeepers will be Amjad Ditta and Anthony Rushton. Your referees this evening are David Mulholland and Steve Gray. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our first contest of the evening. 4 rounds sanctioned in the middleweight division. Please welcome into the ring first from Estonia, Artem Spatar.
Right, it is the bowlers of Marina. We've seen some great fighters box here before, and like I said, you know, these shows are real grassroots of this sport.
Welcome,
and now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent from right here in Manchester, Kieran the Machine McDaid.
Well, big support for the Machine, Kieran McDaid from Cheshire. And Stacey, this is your part of the world, and you know some of these guys pretty well.
Absolutely, and I actually made my start as a pro here at Bowlers on Pat's shows. So, you know, it's I'm very aware of how important this is, these small hole show opportunities, and the crowd that you can hear in the background is indeed the Wythenshawe Massive, as they call them, that have come out in their numbers to support Kieran McDaid.
The Wythenshawe Massive are here for Kieran, 22 years of age. What an opportunity on the talkSPORT platform. And listen to the noise here. Black Flash Promotions underway on this Friday night in Manchester.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is presented to you by Pat Barrett and Black Flash Promotions. We are now live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing. For this contest, 4-round sanction in the middleweight division. Your officials for this contest, your timekeeper will be Amjad Ditta, and your referee in charge of the action is David Mulholland. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the black shorts and weighed in at 11 stone and 10 pounds. He comes to the ring with 27 professional contests, including 5 wins and 1 draw, with 1 win coming by way of knockout. From Narva, Estonia, please welcome Artem Spatar. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He wears the golden red, and he weighed in at 11 stone, 7 pounds and 10 ounces. He comes to the ring unbeaten as a professional, 3 wins against no defeats. He fights out of Champs Camp Mosside, and he hails from Wythenshawe, Manchester, Kieran the Machine McDaid.
Most of all, obeyed by McMillan at all times. Touch good.
David Mulholland in charge of this one in the middleweight division. A hug from Marcus Morrison, good pro, and a very emerging trainer.
Round 1.
Joe Gallagher's stable. It's Kieran McDaid in the yellow gold, really, with the red tassels and flash down the sides, and the white boots, and the southpaw in all black is Artem Spatar. Both of these 22 years of age, but very different careers so far, Spencer.
Yep, they are. Spatar, he won his first 3 actually, and has not won one since then. He is now 27 fights in. This is his 28th fight, and he'll be looking to get back to winning ways. But standing in front of him, Kieran McDaid is a fine young prospect. They're talking highly of him up here in the north. Done nothing wrong so far in his career. And can the Machine deliver victory number 4?
Good amateur as well, had 105 as an amateur, 2 national titles, and actually his last amateur contest was winning the Manchester Box Cup, which was on Sky, so it was a big event. There was a lot of pressure on him. He had a great crowd there, and what a way to finish his amateur career.
That's a terrific amateur record, Stacey, and he's only 22 as a young pro. Absolutely. So he started young.
And Adam, he started here, you know, nice and composed, you know, showing a lot of maturity for a kid only having his full fight. As you can hear with a crowd, he's brought a great crowd with him, and it's easy to sort of lose your way there and get wrapped up in the hype, in the moment. But great start from him, McDaid.
Yep, he's got centre ring. He's getting the combinations flowing. Jabs to head and to body. Well schooled.
You can tell he brings that amateur pedigree. He's got great belief as well. You know, he was saying in the press conference he was confident, and also, you know, he does believe he can become a world champion, and this is where this journey starts. And to see the support he's already got, they're going to go on a really exciting journey with him, hopefully.
Nice selection of jabs there to body and head, just mixing them up, McDaid, which is good.
Yep, seeking out the uppercut on the inside. We've seen plenty of him in these opening couple of minutes that has caught the eye, particularly like the footwork behind that jab.
Yep, not a lot back from Spatar at the moment. He's very defensive, moving up, but a solid defence. He's got landed a good shot there, though.
He did.
Spatar,
yep.
Just a little reminder to McDaid that he needs to stay switched on, because that's what you have to do at this level.
There's a jab to the body again from McDaid. Spatar covering up, switch hitting.
This is where McDaid now needs to use a little variety, try and set a couple of traps, try and create an opening, because as you can see with Spatar, he's a guy that often loses but very rarely gets stopped, and the reason is because he keeps his hands very high, defensively very good, and difficult to find any holes in that defence.
Yeah, he does tuck up really well, but he was dropped with a body shot last year when he fought Lewis Lawton, and so perhaps that is a vulnerability that maybe McDaid obviously will have watched plenty of footage of him, and that might be something they want to try and capitalise on, but otherwise he tucks up really well. He has that high guard, as you said, Spence, very difficult to break down.
Yeah, very difficult to break through that, but McDaid there, you know, I think he's just got to use a little variety here to try and create an opening here with Spatar, who does seem to be defensively very good, and it's going to be interesting to see how he comes out for this second round. You know, these 4-round fights, a lot of pros don't like these 4-round fights. You lose one round and all of a sudden you've got it all to do to try and win the contest, so not a lot of time to get into this one. It's not a marathon, it's more of a sprint, but you have to stay nice and composed while you're doing that educated pressure.
It is the sprint distance.
Round 2.
My colleague Jim Watt used to hate the 4-rounders, so I don't know why we don't start with 6, because if you're a round behind and then maybe 2, you really are chasing your tail. But Kieran McDaid definitely won that opener, and the 22-year-old from Cheshire looking for his 4th straight win against Archam Spatar, who's a veteran really at 22, definitely in the pro ranks. In fight number 28, he's won 5. He won his first 3 and then found life as a journeyman. Funny, Stacey, isn't it, how careers pan out?
He's been in with some, a bit of a tumble there. He's been in with some decent opposition as well. He was the opponent for Lewis Richardson's debut, the Olympic bronze medalist, so he's, you know, he's...
Yeah, I was there at that, and Lewis couldn't get rid of him. He boxed nicely, but he's tough. Spatar has been stopped 4 times, but not often.
Buttigieg as well, who he fought, who you will have seen last week, Adam, against Jake Goodwin. So he has been in with some decent opposition, but it looks like he's starting to go through the gears here a little bit, McDaid, and just let those hands go a bit more.
What a fight that was with Jake Goodwin, Stacey, last week.
The whole show was absolutely fantastic,
Wasn't
and
it?
hopefully we'll have exactly the same this evening, and it makes a massive difference when, I mean, we've talked about this many times, Spencer, and we've been at York Hall together and various other small shows, the importance of the role of the away fighter, the journeyman, however you wish to describe them, is often undervalued, because when they know their job, those make the best shows, because the competitive fights, they're asking questions of these young fighters, and it makes for a much better show, and Spatar now is doing that. He's asking questions of McDaid.
Absolutely, this is all about the development of McDaid here, and Spatar's doing his job at the moment because he's being quite awkward. He's, you know, he's being a little ambitious as well. Good jab there from McDaid, but yeah, McDaid has to be a little creative here, because if he does the straightforward shots, he's not going to get through with anything. Spatar looking dangerous with that backhand there out the southpaw style.
Yep, switching it up, isn't he now? Orthodox southpaw, showing that he knows his way around the ring. He might have lost 21, but he can handle himself in there, and this is good, valuable learning experience for the machine, who just chips away. And
What I'd like to see from McDaid sometimes here is just for him to, two-phase attacks, because sometimes he's pushing him back and then he'll step back out. I'd like to see maybe step out and then go again. You might be able to catch him and open him up a little bit there, not be quite as predictable.
Absolutely, that's just being a little bit creative, like setting traps, being a little bit unpredictable, because that unpredictability wins in this game. You can't just come forward against fighters like Spatar and expect to get through with a double jab right hand. That's never going to be enough, but he's getting through with a double right hand there, which was good work.
Body and head, excellent action. End of the second round here, and Kieran McDaid really sitting down on his punches, planting his feet and making Archim Spatar just look a little ragged, and it's been a good round.
Yep, certainly has been a good round, and Spatar walks back to his corner. He looks nice and relaxed, still composed, as McDaid sits down in the opposite corner taking the instructions. But Stacey, much better round there for Kieran McDaid. I think he started getting into it a little bit, started finding those cracks, finding those holes and getting through with some shots. He just needs to build on that now.
Yeah, and it's just about figuring it out and breaking the opponent down, isn't it? And also just trying to find, and I liked the work to the body. He was bringing in the work to the body a bit more. When somebody's, he can be quite evasive, Spatar. We've seen him a few times, haven't we, Spence, at different small hole shows, and he does tend to lose his shape and his form a little bit, but that in turn can make him quite difficult to pin down. And can I just mention, it's really not fair that Marcus Morrison still looks in that shape, and it's
10 seconds, corners.
Last box
He's in incredible shape.
That is just not fair. It's criminal. It's not
probably
fair.
the best shape of any former fighter.
It's not fair.
Even
Round 3.
I was going to say, mate, trust me, it's not easy to stay in shape, and Marcus does a great job, by the way. He's doing a great job with these young fighters as well, and that is what it's all about, passing on that knowledge. Marcus boxed at a good level and passing on the knowledge to the champions of tomorrow.
And he's been around champions in that gym for years and years as well, haven't he? So he's been learning from all of them as well, so it's great that he can pass that on now.
And hats off to Joe Gallagher, who of course came through the Phil Martin system with Champs Camp, and now he had the likes of Marcus when he was fighting in the corner. We see Dalton Smith in corners now for other fighters, and he's a world champion. It's brilliant to see, passing on that knowledge, that experience, living and breathing this sport.
Absolutely, we've done a great day's filming in Joe Gallagher's gym today with all the guys that are coming through there. Young Mikey Talon was one of them. Lawrence Okoli was in there as well.
Great photo, to be fair.
Oh, it was.
You did look good in that, Spence.
I did, yeah. It's amazing what you can do with photos these days, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, it's a thriving gym, and there's another young prospect coming out of there as well, which is always good. Manchester's always sort of like developing these good young fighters, and it's always good that the older fighters are staying involved with them as well.
Nothing better than being in a gym where everyone's hungry, they're ambitious, and you feed off that, you push each other and get the best out of each other. So it's a great place for a young fighter to be at this stage.
And they're all sort of competing with each other, but it's a cohort camaraderie too, so challenging, seeing who can get the first belt, keep the undefeated record, all of that. Kieran McDaid trying to look for his 4th straight win here against Archim Spatar, who's being lively and tricky and trying to fiddle his way through. He knows he's not going to win this now. He's got it under control. Good body shot from McDaid. But it's a case of Spatar wants to get home, wants to see the distance, hear the final bell, work again next week. And for McDaid, it is shining in front of his fans and dealing with another different style.
Yep, I tell you what, I'm impressed with McDaid and his work. He's digging his feet in now, ramming the shots home, but equally impressed with Spatar as well, who's giving it a go. You look at this guy's record, and like I say, he won his first 3, hasn't won a fight since then, but he's showing a lot of ambition in there. Yes, he's losing the round, Spatar, but he's making a fight of this one, and that's good to see, because great development for Kieran McDaid.
Just stabs at his nose, Archim Spatar. It's been some pace, this. It really has been a sprint.
Well, it has to be, as you've already highlighted, Adam. 4 rounds, you lose one of those is a draw. All of a sudden, you're in a sticky sort of place. It becomes subjective scoring. So for McDaid, he'll recognise that, and he's got to do what he's doing there. The double left hand there, double right hand was good as well. Straight 1-2 to finish, just missed with that right hand. But Stacey, another good round in the bank for Kieran McDaid, but take nothing away from Artem Spatar, who's making a great little contest of this.
It is, and it's really interesting when we talk about the pace of these 4-3s when, you know, it's the early development stages of a young pro's career, because they sometimes can dictate the pace, and if they're able to, if they're that style, they can slow things down or they can up the work rate. But sometimes the away fighter will dictate, and if they're coming at you and sort of, as you said, asking questions, you have to have the answers, don't you, and up your work rate whether you want to or not. And you know, they're both on the stools, sort of blowing a bit here because it has been fought at a fast pace, and that will go in his favour. It's good for him to have these kind of high-paced contests at this stage.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, for the learning process here for McDaid is he's turned up here thinking, right, okay, this kid's not won one for a few years, only won his first 3. It's a routine workout for me, and all of a sudden you get that shot where, hold a minute, he's throwing punches back at me, he's making a bit of a fight of this, and that is the development that I'm talking about, not just the physical side of things, but the mental side, preparing the mind and never underestimating any fighter.
Final round, opening fight of what should be a really good night ahead on talkSPORT YouTube. Black Flash Promotions, Pat Barrett, who was such a great fighter back in the day.
This
for
is much
Manchester.
neater from him, Adam, here, isn't it? Well, it was until I said that, but he was keeping his distance there, using his feet just to edge in and out, and wasn't allowing himself to get untidy, just keeping him on the end of those long shots, and it looked good there, McDaid, in those opening few sequences.
Yep, plenty of talent, ability for the machine. Kieran McDaid just looking down at Marcus Morrison in that blue corner while a shoelace is done up. We had gum shield problems last Saturday night. There's always something going on.
Absolutely, the Wild West of boxing, you know, there's always something going on, but back to this one. And good work again here from McDaid, who's trying to get a little bit of a showreel finish here, but he's got a stubborn opponent in front of him in Artem Spatar, who's still pushing forward, still trying, which is great to see.
I think he's found the range and the distance much better here in this opening minute. Just shifting his feet, those tiny little incremental changes, making it difficult for Spatar to make it messy now.
I think you're spot on, Stacey. I think he's just calmed it down slightly here. Finding the distance behind that jab. Looking for the combinations. Yeah, good feet here. Yeah, Kieran McDaid.
That tiny layback, isn't it? And that step back with that back foot's making all the... And often that is the difference, isn't it, Spence? They're not massive changes. It's those tiny little changes that you need to make that can make you improve round upon round. It's
the judgment of distance and controlling the distance. That's what he's doing it there. You see him shuffling out a couple of inches. That's making Spatar just fall short. But he's in range still to come back with his shots of his own. And that's not an easy thing to do that, because you have to be confident in your own ability to take those couple of steps out to go back in again.
This is what you're looking for, isn't it? Just round by round, just those little improvements at this stage, and I'm sure, I would imagine Marcus will be happy with what he's seen.
Nice chopping right from Kieran McDaid inside the last minute of this very hectic 4-rounder, and Artem Spatar has played his part. He's come over here, he's travelled from Estonia, and he's done his job. He's been very positive, hasn't he, Spencer?
Yep, he has, and Spatar asked him to stand in the middle of the ring with him and work out, but McDaid's not having none of that. Threw a lovely little uppercut on the inside there as well. Spatar just starting to show frustration here. He's getting picked apart a bit, and this is good for McDaid. No, I'm not taking the bait. You're dangling a carrot, but I'm not having none of it, son. I'll keep my own distance.
He's saved the best till last, hasn't he?
As I say, I'm really impressed with the way that he's made those adaptations, but it doesn't surprise me given that amateur background. I mean, 105 fights, he will have seen an awful lot of different styles, and he's showing how he can adapt here. It's good stuff from him.
Last few seconds, bell's gonna go. It's been a cracking mini 4-rounder here. Crowd have loved it at Bowlers. What a way to start the evening. Kieran McDaid will get his 4th straight win, but Artem Spatar was tough and game and switched things up and gave him a fight. And that's what you want to see from these travelling journeymen as the young prospects learn their trade.
Yep, you said it there, Adam. I think from Spatar's point of view, that's a moral victory. He's come here, he's done his job. Okay, he's not got the victory, but he's given McDaid the workout that he needed to develop him, to move him on to the next stage. Win-win from both sides.
He'll be invited back, won't he?
Absolutely. Listen, he's been invited back a few times before, and the reason is because he doesn't come here. When you're boxing a journeyman that doesn't want to have a fight, then it becomes a very frustrating and quite boring spectacle to watch. But when you got a guy that actually comes and wants to have a go, then it's entertaining, and we got that right there.
Who's in the truck?
No, we can't hear him.
Are we talking on this? I'm also Steve.
Shields last week.
Do you know what there is,
Stacey?
Stacey?
No microphone.
You never know. It is the most unpredictable of sports. The twists and turns, Spencer, that we've seen over the last, what, 30-odd years.
I'm quite confident, Adam Smith, I could jump up there and they would hear me. I've got a pretty big mouth myself.
Just wouldn't be able to see you, though, Spencer.
Well, yeah,
put you on a stool.
There's a stool in the corner. Don't worry about that. Don't sit me on it and stand me on it, and we'll be all
Put
right.
you on my shoulders. Well, thank goodness this isn't a close affair, because your nerves right now are a bit...
Stacey, the microphone that Aki's got, it looks one of the biggest in the business.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
How come we can't hear anything?
Big things aren't always best, are they, Spence?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I didn't know where Adam was going with that. First they want me to get in the ring. I'm too small to get in the ring. I need a stool. Then the microphone's too big. You clearly don't want me to get up there. I can shout it out. Not a problem at all.
You shouldn't be taking
I think we know the result. Can we just maybe announce it ourselves? Kieran McDaid is going to get his 4th straight win. It is going to be by 40-36, you'd imagine. Although Archam Spatar did better than that score, if it is, that David Mulholland will give.
No, I think you're pretty spot on there, Adam. 40-36 is what we think it is going to be. I think that's our unofficial scorecard. But he won pretty much every round there. Good, entertaining contest. Spatar played his part in that contest. But McDaid, for me, won every round. Some of the action in that 4th and final round. Good work from McDaid, working the body, working the head, trying to be creative, and look at those little step backs. That's what we were talking about. The little shuffles in and out.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. After 4 rounds of boxing, we go to David Mulholland's scorecard, which reads 40 points to 36 points in favour of your winner. From Wythenshawe, Kieran the Machine McDaid.
Well, we got there in the end, and Aki's voice certainly boomed out. 40-36 every round to the young 22-year-old from Wythenshawe, the Machine. Keep your eyes on him. Keep them peeled. Those white glove fists are going to be pretty useful, I think. Marcus Morrison with him. Good team.
Yeah, great team there, and they'll be very pleased with that young man's victory as they just get the photos. And where will this career end up? Where will it go?
Well, as Stacey said, 100 amateur fights, their pedigree is there, and professionals are turning over really young. We saw George Liddard last weekend, chop the bed, he's 23, Giorgio Vizioli, Alan Macker, I think 18, his kid 22, Kieran McDaid, and Stacey's going to get a word with him.
Can't hear anything.
was that like in there? It looked like you made plenty of adjustments and had a really, really good final round there, getting the range and the distance just right.
Yeah, first round I thought I was falling a bit short. I went back to the corner. Marcus and Clark was telling me what to do, giving me advice. So I just did that through the fight.
I've got to mention the Wythenshawe Massive that are here. I mean, what did it mean to you to have that support in here tonight?
Yeah, they've always come out to support me. I'm always grateful for them. I just want to say thank you for coming out again.
In terms of what's next for you, obviously had a great finish to your amateur career after 105 fights, winning the Manchester Box Cup. You've had a great start so far as a professional. What's next? What's the plan? I know you've got huge ambitions.
Keeping busy. I've got another fight in Liverpool next month on the 25th. Hopefully get another fight after that again. Keep busy all year and have a packed year.
Well, listen, you can go and celebrate with all these supporters now. Congratulations and well done.
Fight of the night. Aki Karim has his microphone back in his hand and it is working. Still to come, Abdul Khan, looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Super featherweight contest against Mikhail Burlac, Owen Anderton, Vidis Balciauskas, Alex McMillan, he's from McGuigan's gym. Josh Pritchard, I think, winning tonight. Joe Blandford, George Killeen undefeated, Eduardo Sanchez. We see, I think, almost every week. That's a good little cruiserweight contest. Kai Dawber and Ross McGuigan and Kyle Davies and Mickey Ellison topping the bill tonight at Bowlers. We're running them fast, action all the way on talkSPORT YouTube from Black Flash Promotions. Here's Aki.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next contest of the evening. 6 rounds sanctioned in the super featherweight division. Please welcome into the ring first from Italy via Moldova, Mikhail Burlac.
Bit of drum and bass, Spencer.
Yeah, takes me back to the day, actually, when we started up here in Manchester. Remember, Nazim Hamed, 1999, I believe that was, boxing up here, and the nights we used to have out afterwards, Adam, were quite entertaining.
They were very much so. Michael Brody knocking around those times. Anthony Farnell, Michael Gomez, of course. I saw his son, Michael Gomez Jr. earlier. Today's fighting tomorrow night at the Co-op, and he's got plenty of fans. Here is Mikhail Burlac.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent from Bolton, Abdul Khan.
Well, building quite a record on the small hall team is Amir Khan's cousin, Abdul Khan from Bolton. And of course, Amir not only inspiring his relatives, but a whole generation of fighters in the Northwest.
Yeah, absolutely. Winning that Olympic silver medal way back when he was 17 years of age. Going on to achieve what he achieved, becoming a 2-weight world champion. And now doing great things with Amir Khan Promotions as well. We're seeing the shows over in Africa. We're seeing it in Nigeria. We've seen them in Ghana. I think he's got another one coming up in Nigeria on May the 1st. So doing good things. And that's the first time I caught a glimpse of Abdul
for that one.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We are talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. We're all over that show. We love to support Amir Khan, and we supported this young man when he boxed on one of the undercards out there as well, getting that international experience. Abdul Khan, lovely kid. I think he was around 7-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is presented to you by Pat Barrett and Black Flash Promotions. We are now live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing. This contest, 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. And your officials. Your timekeeper is Anthony Rushton, and your referee in charge of the action is A-star referee Steve Gray. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the black shorts and he weighed in at 9 stone and 12 pounds. He comes to the ring with 20 professional contests, including 3 wins, and all 3 of those wins come by way of knockout. From Italy via Moldova, please welcome Mikhail Burlac. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He wears the white shorts and he weighed in at 9 stone 10 pounds and 3 ounces. He comes to the ring unbeaten as a professional, 13 wins and no defeats, with 3 wins coming by way of knockout. He comes to us from Bolton, Lancashire. Please welcome Abdul.
A-star referee Steve Gray, one of our finest, as we drop down from the middleweight division into the 9 stone 4 brigade, which is absolutely flying at the moment. We saw the Anthony Kakachi and Jazza Dickens headliner in Dublin the other week. Here's young prospect Abdul Khan from Bolton. It's his 67th round as a pro. He's undefeated in 13, and with Mikhail Burlac, who's 11 years older. He's had 20 fights, turned back in December 2021, and he's lost his last 11, but normally fairly solid. So let's see what Khan can do with him.
Yeah, Abdul Khan done nothing wrong so far, as I said, picked up that international experience as well. Top prospect, this one. Amir Khan certainly believes in him.
It'd be interesting to see, Spencer. You said I think he was 7-0 when you saw him out in Africa. What his improvements are like in the last few fights.
Absolutely, good timing there with the left hook
that
as we were speaking.
It's an absolute goodness me. But he's got fast hands, hasn't he? He's an entertaining, you know, sharp fighter. And as you say, Spence, what a great, you know, in 13 fights, he's boxed in Ghana, Dubai, you know, great experiences for him. But
because Amir didn't have fast hands, did he?
Must run in the family.
Possibly the fastest hands of anyone his weight in many a year. Amir Khan, wonderfully exciting, entertaining, good guy as well, and as Spencer was saying, running his own promotional business.
And again, the left hook there.
Lovely, and he's hurt there, wobbled there. Burlac in this first round. Sharp shooting from Abdul Khan.
And look at the patience Khan's showing there as well. He's picking the shots, getting himself out of range, and slowly, systematically breaking Burlac apart here. Look, the feints there. That's what I was talking about when I'm talking about setting traps. You don't see young fighters doing that anymore. Good head movement as well. Like what I'm seeing here with Abdul Khan. You know, he's a student of the sport. He's always willing to learn. Like, you know, I had some great conversations with him as well, and the improvements have been brilliant. The punch timing here, precision is excellent, and that left hook that he's landing.
Do you know what's really fascinating about him as well is that he can get real purchase on his shots, real whip on them from his torso, from a short range. You know, he's not going to wind them up. He can, in a very, you know, mid and close range, he can whip those shots in and get some real, you know, explosive power on them, which is what we've seen with that lead hook. You know, it's quite a unique skill that to have, to be able to generate that power at that close range.
Looks big in there as well, doesn't he? Abdul Khan towering over Mikhail Burlac, and that reach that he's utilising well.
And fair play to Burlac, by the way, for, you know, he was really stunned there, and he's managed to get his legs, get his composure again, and he's that takes some doing, because it was a massive shot that he took. Good
body shot though from Khan, and he's catching him on the counter too. It's a decent opening round this for the unbeaten prospect. He's got a little bit of damage around the nose, but apart from that, pretty punch perfect.
I got to say there, Stace, that left hook, the timing of that left hook is impeccable. He's done that there, just landed it on the bell as well, Khan. You know, he's waiting for that. You see him half a shuffle out, showing great boxing IQ, and then whipping the left hook over.
Yeah, the whip he gets on that torso is unbelievable to generate that power. Do you know what he did at the public workout for Destiny in the Desert, which is now going to be in Manchester, which is obviously scheduled for Ricky Hatton to fight, and then Kell Brook has now stepped in, and they had the public workout at Ricky Hatton's gym last month, and we were all there, and Dominic Ingle came down, and he did a bit of pads and stuff with Kell, and then he invited the boxers there if anyone wanted to come in and try and stick one on Kell. And Abdul Khan put his hand up and jumped in, and did it, you know, Kell moved around with him, and he did a few, and he pretended that he put him down. It was all in great spirit, but that's the character of this young man. You know, he will step up, and it was great to see. And Kell Brook was brilliant with him. It was a great moment at that public workout. Kell Brook giving a youngster that opportunity. It was brilliant.
Second to 6, Amir Khan used to wear those white trunks at times. Abdul, his cousin, is an undefeated prospect, 23 years of age, and also from Bolton. Had a good first round against Michal Burlac, who's well, trying to find his 4th win. He's got a ton of defeats on the record, but he's better than that record. He's Moldovan born, lives in Italy. I'd like to live in Italy.
I've visited Italy a few times. I like the pasta in Italy, actually.
Quite nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, big right hand there from Khan as well. I've got to say, his timing is brilliant today. That left hook is the shot that he's been landing right from the opening belt. And you just feel now that Burlac may be just coming apart at the seams here.
I'm surprised he hasn't tightened his guard, though, because obviously at that close range, he whips those shots in Khan, and he's taking a few and still tending to choose to have that low lead hand, isn't he? And just would have thought that Burlac might tuck up a little bit more with the firepower that's coming his way. Seems to be upright, doesn't he? His chin's in the air, so perhaps just needs to tuck that chin in a bit and get that guard a bit tighter.
I think he wants a scrap. I think he's trying to show Khan that he's not intimidated, but he's getting caught because Khan is quicker and classier.
He's not had many in the UK either. It was Jordan Flynn, wasn't it, last September? You commentated on that one, Spence.
I did.
So this he'll see as an opportunity to get more work over here if he can put on a good performance. So perhaps that's what he's trying to show. He's trying to showcase himself as well, isn't he?
The problem with Burlac that he's got here is he's run out of ideas. He can't get forward. He's trying to close the gap with his hands instead of his feet on the front foot, and when he's going backwards, he's getting caught as well. Khan is controlling the space here, and that space is giving him the timing. Timing creates the speed, speed creates the power. It all comes into sync, and that's why at the moment it's punch perfect for Abdul Khan, who's boxing beautifully, and more importantly, showing patience.
And are you seeing an improvement over the years?
Oh, absolutely, a massive improvement. You know, sometimes in the past I've seen him a little over-eager, overreaching with his shots, closing the gap too much. But it's like, to give you an analogy, it's like when you're doing your driving lessons and it's all over the place when you start. I don't know what you was like. I mean, I'm still terrible, but it was all over the place, going from first to second to third, and then all of a sudden one day you go out there and it all slips into gear. And that's what seems to be happening with Abdul Khan right now.
I'm a terrible driver. I nearly hit a bus on my test. What about you, Stacey?
I'm just hoping that neither of you have parked anywhere near me in this car.
Well, I wouldn't even dream about driving this far, if I'm totally honest. I think I've written off every car I've purchased.
Oh, look at this. Good effort from Burlac. Really opening up and trying to land a few combinations and turn it into the sort of toe-to-toe battle that he'd prefer. Abdul Khan, bit of blood. Is that from the nose or around the left eye? Alex Matvienko's gym that Khan's in, but he seems pretty happy in that.
I think he knows he's not going to outbox him, doesn't he? And he's not going to have faster hands, so I think he's going for the brawl option, as you said, Adam.
I think the blood's actually coming from Burlac's face. They're working on in the corner just above us.
Yeah, it was a good little effort towards the end there, last 10-15 seconds from Burlac, but I think he had no choice. He had to sort of roll the dice.
The better form defensive for him maybe here. Well, that's what he's gone with, but it does leave him vulnerable, obviously.
Stacey, that's what I was saying. I said, listen, he tried everything, nothing was working, so he's got to roll the dice, and you know that chaos creates opportunity, and I think that's what he was trying to do there. He's going, right, Abdul Khan's boxing me, from the back foot sideways, so what do? Just roll the dice and try and have a tear up, and and it sort of semi-worked for him a little bit there.
It's definitely difficult to find your rhythm, isn't it, and set your feet when somebody's coming at you like that. So perhaps it's done that a little to Khan, but I think now we'll see him adjust to that.
70th round of young Abdul Khan's career, and the 105th of Michal Burlac, who's been around a few more years. He's seasoned, he's cheeky, but this is the round that Jordan Flynn stopped him at your call, Spencer.
Yep, and he's just landed a good right hand there again. Khan, he's put his head down on the chest there, and he's looking to load up. That was a big right hand, and acknowledgement there from Burlac, which is never a good sign. That normally means he's been buzzed down to the sole of his boots, but he's not. He's controlled it quite well. Khan looking, now you just sense, to load up and try and make some sort of dent in Burlac here, but Burlac finding more success on that front foot. Yes, it's wild. Yes, the chin's in the air. He's giving Khan the opportunity, but so far...
left hand, and that really stunned him. Burlac, body shots, and now he's hurt and he's defiant, isn't he? And swinging from the hip and giving really good value and entertainment here. The man from Italy.
Yeah, showing a lot of character in there, Stacey, isn't he? He took a massive shot there. You saw him get buzzed, and he sort of bit down on the gum shield and come back, like I say.
It's a dangerous distance for him, because when he's up right close and he's just swinging those shots in, it's the safest place to be, right on someone's chest, isn't it? But just that little bit of separation of that distance has allowed Khan to open up, and he's really vulnerable here.
Really accurate shots here from Abdul Khan, with uppercuts, body shots. He's dabbing away at that nose. He's just in danger of falling apart here, Michal Burlac. He's wading in, but there's no real technical sense behind it.
I'm not sure exactly what he's got left here, Burlac. Adam, I think he's sort of blown a gasket. He might be running on empty here, and Khan, you just sense one more hard attack, big right hand like that, and follows up, goes through those phases.
To the left, Steve Gray just having a closer look, because he's very open here, Michal Burlac, inside the last minute of the third round. And can Abdul Khan do what Jordan Flynn managed?
Nice double left hook on the inside there as well, and like Stacey was saying earlier on, he needs to go through the gears, through the phases, and those attacks, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, is what's going to get someone like Burlac out of there, because he won't be able to cope with that pressure. And you see him now, he's showing a lot of character, hanging that big hook again.
How many times has he done that with his defence down? Blood from the nose, there's the uppercut. Really good variety, Stacey, here from Abdul Khan.
Absolutely, and he's just still not choosing to tuck up, is he? He's still going toe-to-toe with him, which certainly entertaining, but he's extremely exposed as well. And I think when he gets back to see this bell, hasn't he?
I think when he gets back to his corner, he's going to look a very tired man, Michal Burlac. Brave, committed, but he needs this minute rest.
Yep, he really does. He's going to just taking a look at him on our monitor there.
Exhausted, doesn't he?
Doesn't he?
They take a lot out of you, those big shots, don't they? I mean, they interrupt your breathing patterns even, and you know, you can't sit, you've got to reset every time, and there've been some huge shots. The accuracy there was really impressive with Abdul Khan. You know, the shot selection, but the accuracy, the sharpness, the speed, just completely undid Burlac, and he made really good adjustments, because Burlac made it messy in the second round. Khan, really precise, great work in the third.
Yeah, he done well to get through the round, really, Burlac. He kept showing great powers of recovery to come back the way that he come back, and like you say, the best form of defence for him was attack, because that was the only time he was getting any success of not getting whacked in the face.
You can't run out of steam, can you? That's a tactic.
Will he slow off the stool here, Burlac?
Very slow off the stool. I have more than a minute there, and he's reticent, and Khan's going to go for it early in the fourth round. And this is a six-rounder, remember. Michal Burlac in danger of not making this distance, because he'll desperately want to. He'll relish fighting again in a week or two, but if he gets stopped, that will be a month's suspension. They don't want that, do they?
No, they certainly don't, and that's why he's hanging in there the way he's hanging in there, because he now knows that he's not going to win this contest, and the victory for him will be hearing that final bell. But Abdul Khan has other ideas as he opens up again here.
Steve Gray has not taken his eyes off Michal Burlac since the opening of this fourth round. and I think he's waiting for an opportunity. But Burlac is very gutsy and still trying to throw, but it's not getting him anywhere.
Oh, that left hook again landing, thudding on the side of the head of Burlac there. You can feel it rocking him down to the soles of his boots, and he's showing great resilience in there, Burlac, that is for sure, and he's still throwing back, and that is what's stopping the referee Steve Gray from stopping this contest,
because another right
he wants to get in there.
Spencer, then he just, legs went as well, and he's dabbing his nose. He's definitely, Stacey, trying his hardest, but it's just too much.
Absolutely, and like I say, he's going to want to showcase what he's capable of, because he'll want more work here in the UK, and this is part of how, you know, some fighters, this is just how they express themselves. They don't know any other way than to go to toe to toe and keep coming forward.
There's a very experienced referee in there, Steve Gray. He won't let Michal Burlac take too much more of this. It is one-way traffic. Abdul Khan showcasing his skills, and Michal Burlac seemingly with very little left.
Yep, completely run out of ideas here, Burlac. Nothing working. The face is completely red,
and
swollen.
This can be more brutal and damaging, can't it, than one shot that knocks you out and just stuns you.
Yeah, and you wonder if his corner, as well, as he tries to smile through the gumshoe, will be having a look and maybe saving their man for another day.
No, unfortunately, Adam, I don't think that is the situation here with this corner. I think that is the victory for them to hear that final bell. As you said, you know, once those bruises heal, it'll be back in the ring doing the same sort of job again. So that 28-day ban that they get if they get stopped is not in his favour, but Khan again working body and head so well.
Intelligent to go to the body just to change things up, Khan, and back upstairs now. Very one-sided round, now the left hand, and if Burlac hadn't thrown back, I think Steve Gray was ready to stop it.
Yep, he was. Steve Gray come around the other side, and he was definitely looking at an opportunity to jump in there. This has all been one-way traffic, Stacey. Abdul Khan dominating this one right from the opening bell, and slowly every round he's picking it up bit by bit. The shot selection's brilliant, working well to the body, head, creating openings. And Burlac, to his credit, his game, he's pushing forward, but taking a lot of punishment.
Can, or should even, Burlac get through these next couple of rounds?
Well, he just doesn't look like he's going to go into survival mode, does he? Oh, usually you would see that, and Steve Gray's going over to have a word now. I mean, you would think he would have gone into survival mode by now, but he just doesn't seem to have that in his locker. He seems intent just to go at him whenever he gets a chance, but clearly it's leaving him very exposed, and he's taken an awful lot of punishment. He really has.
Steve Gray went to have a chat with the corner in between rounds. There are two more to go, and here he comes straight out of the blocks. Abdul Khan winging in the hooks and really testing Michal Burlac, as he should do.
I think he's sensing here, Adam, that one big onslaught might just get this job done. Burlac's shown great heart in there and desire and will to hang in there, but not to win. And if Khan gets this right now, Steve Gray, the way he's thinking, going over to that corner, you know Steve is not far away from stopping this contest.
No, but you also just worry slightly that Khan will get frustrated with desperately trying to finish it and maybe not be as smooth as he has been. That's a possibility, but Burlac, wow, I mean, look how tough he is.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. It's not recommended, that's for sure, but goodness me, he's got some guts.
It's a barroom brawl, isn't it, from him? Anyway.
Listen, this is what we're talking about, you know, with this grassroots boxing, what we've got here in Bowlers. You go, these are the guys that make these shows. These are the guys that develop tomorrow's champions. Abdul Khan could be one of those, but now he's having to ask himself questions, because all of a sudden he's on the back foot going, where's this kid coming from?
Yeah,
he should have stopped it in the last round. Why is he still here?
Yeah, why hasn't it finished? And he's got to be careful that he paces himself in case Burlac does go the 6 rounds, because he's certainly livened up here, the man that lives in Veneta in Italy.
Well, Khan may be just starting to feel the pace a little bit himself at the moment, because he's got a little reckless, a little bit ragged. Low blow just landed there. Burlac definitely felt the weight of that one.
And definitely didn't need it, did he, at this stage?
Certainly not. And I tell you what, Abdul Khan might have done him a little favour, because he can now regroup, get himself back together. He's now talking and taking instructions from the corner. Good to see that he's doing that. But maybe just a little breather he needed there, because he started to unravel a little bit himself there, Khan. Didn't look completely in the flow state.
Yeah, and that fluidity is really important for somebody like him who, you know, he's fast, he reacts to his opponent, he's sharp. There it is, that again, that little bit of flow and that sharp chopping lead hand, that's better from him. Perhaps that little pause there just helped him reset a little bit mentally.
Yep, you both said it. I think that was exactly what he needed, and this is classier from Abdul Khan. He's found himself some room, and there's a cut, damaged nose for Michal Burlac. He's really been in the wars. And I tell you what, even if he does go the distance, he's got to sort that damage out before he goes back in the ring.
Yep, agree with that, Adam. And I tell you what,
bother him in that nose, isn't he?
Well,
until it's
definitely broken, that's for sure, the way that it's bleeding there. And he's, you know, he's earned his paycheck. Let's just hope he's getting a good one here, Burlac, because he's earned every penny of it. You know, we've written him off 3 or 4 times in this fight, just when he looks, just look when he looks like he's going to unravel and come apart. And we see this week in, week out, so we have good judgment of that. This kid is defying the odds and pushing forward and testing this young prospect.
So a question mark, is it a lack of power from Abdul Khan as well, possibly?
Well, I think we're early stages of that. It's maybe about Khan sitting down a little bit more on his shots and all that sort of stuff. There's ways he can improve that as he goes on, but I think the biggest thing to take from this for Abdul Khan is that he thought he was going to get the job done, and when you think you're there, you can see the finish line, and all of a sudden that doesn't work. You go like soul searching a little bit, and that's a test.
The other things,
a test of character.
When he caught him with that big shot in the first round, he didn't jump on him, which often will praise young fighters that and say that's good, they haven't got greedy, they've stayed composed. But then you look, you get into this stage and you think, should he actually have capitalised on that?
Well, that's the point, exactly. You know, you're talking about it, it's great being composed for round 1, round 2, round 3. Then we get into the second half, you go, right now, I'm totally in control of this. Let's start getting that little show reel finish. Let's get people leaving again. Did you see that, Abdul Khan? What a good stoppage there. He's not been able to deliver that. And round 5, he started to come apart a little bit himself. Let's hope he's regrouped and he has a good 6.
Steve Gray didn't go into the corner in between rounds.
No, he's earned the right to hear this final bell. Like I say, it's like a movie when you're watching it and saying, nobody can take this much hammer. Well, he has, and he's still kept swinging. Huge credit to him. I don't know what is in the pasta in his neck of the woods in Italy, but goodness me, there's some stern stuff.
I'll tell you what, I've been to Sicily before, and the pasta is quite incredible. I think I've done a 10k run out there after I had that, and that is unheard of for me, mate. Trust me, 10 metres is always a struggle.
It's 2004.
You didn't have to tell that bit.
Michal Burlac will get plenty of pasta after this. He deserves it. I'll tell you what, this has been a mighty effort from the visitor, the 34-year-old in fight number 21. Abdul Khan is winning this comfortably, but the moral victor has got to be Burlac, because he was done and dusted a couple of rounds ago, and now he looks like he could do another 3 or 4 rounds.
And 11 years his senior as well. I mean, that's a significant gap, isn't it?
Yep, certainly is. Gives us all hope, doesn't it? The way he's come back, the way he looked like he was out 2 or 3 rounds ago, come back incredibly well. And I tell you what, he's loading up here. Khan has to stay switched on. He's got to be careful, because one of those wild shots lands, and Burlac will try and take that opportunity.
It's a really good learning experience, this, from Abdul Khan, when it looked pretty straightforward that he would get that 3rd or 4th round stoppage. He's had to dig deeper than he might have felt and navigate, Stacey, a different situation.
And that's part of the learning and development. You know, when do you go in for the kill, if you like, in the big finish? You don't want to do it prematurely. You do want to keep your composure, but it's a bit like playing football. You can't have a million passes. Somebody's got to have a shot at some point if you're going to score. So it's learning when to go in and get that finish. If you can, you should.
I think that a big thing to take away for Abdul Khan from this one, when he started this fight, he was picking his shots, putting his shots together in bunches as well, and that's where he was getting success and systematically breaking Burlac down. Then he started sitting down on his shots and loading up, and that was more Burlac's game. Burlac started trading with him and sort of pulled himself back into the contest. So Abdul Khan, like his cousin Amir Khan, speed kills, and I think that's where his main assets are. Shots, relaxed, combination punching, not sitting down on his shots and giving the opponent an opportunity.
Spencer, he's had now 14 fights, Abdul Khan. Been fairly inactive last 2 or 3 years as the blood damage, I think on the left side as well for Michal Burlac, worsens. How quickly do you move, Khan?
You got activity is key. I think that, you know, inactivity causes big problems. It gives you a setback. You got to get back in there. Takes you that contest to get rid of the ring rust before you kick on again. So it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You have to be active. You know, Amir Khan's doing big things abroad with these shows. Get yourself out there. Box on shows here like at Bowlers. Just stay active, and I think we'll see the improvements, because I've seen that from this kid. He's improving all the time, and he's got a bright future, but he has to be active.
Yeah, I'm sure Amir's watching somewhere, and maybe he'll have his cousin back on May the 1st in that big show in Nigeria. That would work, wouldn't it? A few weeks away. And at 6 rounds in the bank, a good, hard 18 minutes against Michal Burlac, where he showed decent skills and speed and some lovely artillery. But Burlac, wow, don't know where he found that second wind. They obviously came very well prepared, the team, and he did his utmost in there, and we'll remember him.
Absolutely. Listen, not just remember him, we'll want to see him again. You know, those sort of guys that show that heart, grit, determination and will to win as well, because I will say that Burlac was trying to win in that fight as well. He wasn't just defensive, he was giving Khan that opportunity, which made it a great fight. And he, you know, Khan had to ask himself a few questions. He would have learnt a lot from that himself in that contest. He'll probably say after the contest, when you interview him, Stace, no, I wasn't happy with that, the timing wasn't there, ring rust wasn't there. But realistically, you go, that is a great learning fight for you, and when you look back at it, wherever you reach, whatever heights you reach, you're going to look back at that one and go, that was the fight I needed. I'm glad I never knocked him out in a round, because I wouldn't have learned what I've learned right now.
The gold and white. We remember the days of Amir Khan, don't we? Brilliant times. How far can Abdul go? 23, 14-0 now. It will be made official any moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. After 6 rounds of action, we go to referee Steve Gray's scorecard, which reached 60 points to 54 points in favor of your winner. From Bolton, Abdul Khan.
Every round and a big smile for Abdul Khan. Michal Burlac, Spencer, very much played his part.
Yep, certainly did. Great fight there from Burlac. He put up a good contest, showed great resilience in there, durability as well. Come back with good shots of his own. Asked Abdul Khan some questions. So look, he's pleased with himself. Face is a little bit bashed up. I wouldn't like to see what it looks like tomorrow, that's for sure. That's when the swelling comes out. But he gave a good little contest there. Give the fans exactly what they want to see. Great entertainment. But another brilliant victory there from Abdul Khan, who moves to 14-0. With 3 of those inside the distance. How far can this kid go? Can he reach the heights of his cousin Amir Khan and become world champion? Only time will tell, but he needs to be active, I will say that.
Yeah, 2026 is a big year for him. He's still just 23. I think regular action. Good to see him on Pat Barrett's big Black Flash show. Buddy McGuigan there at ringside. I know, supporting Carl Davies, Coogan Cassius in the house. Some big names from boxing And here's one, Stacey Copeland.
Abdul, congratulations. First of all, goodness me, were you expecting him to be so resilient? He was tough.
Yeah, it was a good performance, you know. First of all, I want to say, alhamdulillah, thank you to Allah, you know. It's been a frustrating 9 months out of the ring, but I'm glad to be back in the ring tonight against a very durable opponent, you know. 3 weight classes above mine, you know. Last minute, I stayed in the gym, stayed ready, and it was good to get the fight.
You've had some great experiences fighting in other countries, in Ghana, in Dubai. You're developing nicely. How happy are you with that performance tonight and also with where you are at this stage?
I'm my worst critic, you know. I know I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at it, and there's a lot more to work on, but we're stepping towards the right direction, and we're going to stay at it, inshallah, and keep building.
You can see they've got those calm, fast hands and that sharp accuracy as well. Tell us, what's the plan for the rest of this year? What's coming up?
Inshallah, whatever Allah has planned, you know how boxing is. We can plan and then there's a spanner in the works somewhere. So, you know, my job is just to stay ready, and whatever comes, inshallah, I'll be more than ready for it.
And just a quick word for your fans and those who support you.
I want to say thank you to everyone that's supporting me and who bought a ticket. But I want to say a massive thank you to my sponsors. Without them, I wouldn't be able to be doing this full time, you know. Cube Desserts, Riaz, Yamin, Nugget, and Hakeem Group. I want to say thank you to my management. I want to say thank you to everyone on these shots. And I want to say thank you to my family and my mum for believing in me. And I can't wait to get back, inshallah.
It was a tough fight, a learning one, but you showed what you could do. Very entertaining. We're looking forward to seeing you back out again. Well done.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next contest of the evening. 6 rounds scheduled and sanctioned in the middleweight division. Please welcome into the ring first from Lithuania, Davies, Balciauskas.
Fast and furious, these fights. And in comes Venus Balciauskas.
Yeah, Balciauskas.
Seen that all day.
He has. That was Adam Smith's big moment, Balciauskas. And he absolutely nailed it.
He's had some wheat to
Now,
drink.
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
I think your
his
fight name was
opponent
Shreddies.
from
He's had
Wigan,
that 3 Shreddies.
Owen, Body Snatcher Anderton.
Big support all around ringside for this 22-year-old. The youngsters on display tonight on talkSPORT. Owen Anderton, undefeated, and being talked about his big moment.
He's a new signing for Black Flash Promotions as well, so a great opportunity for them to showcase their new signing and for him to show what he can do as well. He is no known as the body snatcher, so plenty to live up to with that.
The body snatcher, a la Dillian White, Mike McCallum, any others?
Well, Mike McCallum's a standout one, isn't he? I think that's where it all originated from.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is presented to you by Pat Barrett and Black Flash Promotions. We are now live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing for this contest, 6 rounds sanctioned in the middleweight division. Your officials for this contest, timekeeper will be Amjad Ditta, and your referee in charge of the action is David Mulholland. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the black and white and weighed in at 11 stone, 11 pounds and 10 ounces. He comes to the ring with 40 professional contests, and he comes to us from Panevezus, Lithuania. Please welcome Davies Balciauskas. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He wears the black shorts and weighed in at 11 stone, 9 pounds and 13 ounces. He comes to the ring unbeaten with 7 wins against no defeats and 1 draw. And he comes to us from Wigan, Lancashire, Owen, body snatcher, Anderton.
Third up on this big night for Black Flash Promotions and the black trunks of Owen Anderton, 22 years of age and fight number 9, he's undefeated, and in with Lithuania's Balciauskas, who's in his 41st professional outing in his 39th year, and he's been around since August 2007. That's not long after your day.
Unfortunately, it is quite long after I'd finished, to be fair. 10 years after I'd finished. But
he also has one of the most unforgiving profile pictures on BoxRec. Those who don't know what BoxRec is, it's you know, all the details of all the fighters and their profiles, and often a picture. And he's a bit banged up after a fight and has a large piece of cotton wool stuffed up his left nostril. It's not the fairest. It's not his best angle, I don't think.
Well, not the best, but he's got his gloves up and he's trying to do his best against this quick Owen Anderton.
And it's interesting with Anderton because he is known as the body snatcher and he has landed some unbelievable body shots, but he has the longest jab. It's just really straight ramrod jab that he works so well off. It's difficult for opponents to get past.
Yeah, long arms.
Yeah, the foundations are good, aren't they? From Owen Anderton, that is for sure. This is a great opportunity here against Balciauskas, who's tough as they come, as you say. Doesn't look particularly good on his profile picture on BoxRec, but you can see the signs of war on his face even starting this contest, Adam, can't you? You know, he's rough, he's tough, and he comes to earn his money.
He certainly does.
I think if he asked you for your money in an alley, you'd probably just give it him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's not the sort of bloke you'd pick out in a pub, is he?
Well, yeah, but he's been in with the likes of Niall Brown, who we saw do very well the other night. Tyler Denny as well. He did as
Brad Ray as well.
Brad Ray, some good names.
And a long time ago, he fought those two back in 2018, 2019. So that shows how, you know, long he's been in with, you know, top level opposition. So
I thought Tyler had a real good crack at George Liddard last Saturday night. I saw Errol Johnson earlier at the Moses Atama weigh-in and asked him if Tyler was all right, and yeah, back on his feet, and off we go again. That's boxing, right?
Absolutely. Tyler Denny was one of those kids that come from here, from these small hall shows. This is where he was built, and look at the heights that he had achieved and gone on to do against all the odds, defied all the odds.
Exactly.
And he's still going.
Had losses, had draws, but he became a European champion, so there's always hope. It's a good start and a lovely body shot there from Owen Anderton with the right hand. Owen on the front of his trunks, Wigan on the back. That's his home in Lancashire. Good support, and Stacey, an excellent first round here.
Yeah, really good. This has been a great display from Anderton. He's composed, he's got his range and distance early, but he works so well off that jab, and you can see now he's starting to find the angles for those body shots, and hence his alias body snatcher, because he really sinks them in behind those elbows.
I think he felt that at the end as well, Balciauskas, as he goes back to his red stool. I mean, his face doesn't change much, does it? He's obviously a poker player, but I think he was hurt there at the end of that.
He definitely was hurt there. I'm not sure where that shot was, or where it come from. Balciauskas was soaking it up well, doing what he does best, covering up well. Long arms and those elbows cover the midriff very good, and he keeps the hands held high. Some of the action in that first round, but all the action really coming from Owen Anderton, and that was all behind that left jab. Spearing jab he was throwing through the middle, piercing through the guard there of Balciauskas, then coming round with the hooks. But this is where he was hurt towards the end. I'm not sure if it's a double hook. Looking at Balciauskas sitting in the corner. The nose is reddened. He's reddened above the eye as well. That was a tough first round for him. Let's see if Anderton can build on that good start.
He has lost 37 times, been stopped on 4 occasions. Balciauskas, he was slow off his stool for the second round. This scheduled for 6 in the 11 stone 6 middleweight division. Looking good. Owen Anderton, the body snatcher, 1-7. Did have a draw against Jake Goodwin, who we were talking about earlier, and after his performance against Lele Buttigieg last week. That's no bad thing. Maybe a rematch down the line would be good, but he's got the skills, and I love his jab.
Yep, he's got the fundamentals built very, very well here. Good balance, works everything off that jab. Shuffles in and out of range. Shot selection's great as well. There's a lot to like about this kid, Stace.
Yeah, there's a good work rate as well, isn't there? He's always busy. Whether it's just that little bit of footwork and movement, or obviously with his shots, there's plenty of volume coming from him, isn't there? And as you rightly say, great variety in angles as well.
It's his debut for Black Flash as well, so he'll be looking to impress, and plenty of support too at Bowlers on the edges of Manchester. A huge fight weekend. Friday night here, Saturday night at the Co-op with Moses Itauma topping the bill against Tremaine Franklin. The Magnificent Seven, a Queensbury promotion following one from Pat Barrett. It's great to see the small halls and the big halls side by side, and these youngsters will be dreaming of opportunities down the line on those sort of stages.
Hey, Manchester's the place to be. The Brits we've had the Mobos this week.
Well, it was busy actually when we drove up trying to get into Manchester.
Yeah, that's right. We had the Mobile Awards last night. We had the Brits a couple of weeks ago.
Were you there, Stacey?
At the Brits.
At the Brits.
Not quite my bag, that.
No, mine neither.
Mine neither, so there we go. Yeah. We prefer being ringside here to see any sort of level of boxing, and this is a good prospect in Owen Anderton.
He's really struggled to deal with that jab, hasn't he, Balciauskas? He can't get past it, and he's just taken a lot of them straight down the pipe, isn't he? But
yeah,
such an effective jab from Anderton.
Yeah, he really has been. He's used that not just as a rangefinder, but as a weapon, because it's piercing through the guard of Balciauskas, who's starting to feel that. That's slowly breaking him down there, stealing his soul in many ways. Balciauskas doing what he does best, a wealth of experience, coming forward, keeping their hands high, but punch-perfect performance from Anderton at the moment, who's working everything beautifully. Jab goes in again, sends a head back from Anderton. Good work.
Yeah, very good 6 minutes of boxing from Anderton, and like Michal Burlac in the previous fight, Balciauskas has damage to the nose and looks shot worn after just a couple of rounds. Tough business sometimes being a journeyman.
Yep, not easy at all, is it? You know, we've seen so many of them over the years. One guy I boxed, Peter Buckley, in my third fight, went on to have over 300 fights, but they are the backbone of the game that we talk about. Without these guys, this game does not survive. They develop these younger prospects that come through, so the importance is incredible for these guys to do what they're doing, because that's what keeps everything going.
I've just caught Mike Jackson's eye in the corner over there. What a character he's been on the Manchester scene for so long.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course worked with Ricky Hatton and all of his fighters for many years. So yeah, he's been, he did my corner actually for a few of my pro fights, well, not my corner, but he was with us along with my coach Blaine Eunice. So he's been around the game for many, many years. So it's great to see him back on the scene in recent times as well.
You know what I love about these shows that we see, that we cover on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. We've done one for Mark Nelson and TM14 last week, but you see all the fighters, like all the current champions, ex-champions, and we've got it here as well. When you look around this, you see, you know, all the fighters from the north that turn out because they love this, Adam. This is what it's all about. This is where it starts for them, but this is what they support themselves. You see fighters from different generations here, don't you?
It's great. Manchester has always been a fabulous boxing city. It really has. Since the early days when I was at Sky Sports, we came up all the time. The likes of Brian Hughes', Collyhurst and Moston Gym, Billy Graham's Phoenix Camp, of course, and many others. And it's just brilliant to be back, and it's absolutely buzzing. Owen Anderton from Wigan in Lancashire, 22 years of age. I'll tell you what, Stacey, he's boxing more maturely than his age.
Absolutely, I think this has been a really good performance, and when you think as well, there's the occasion. They've done a fantastic job of making this look like a brilliant arena in here. You know, it's got a great atmosphere, and that can play on fighters' minds. When you arrive at an arena and you see all these huge boards up, and obviously they've got their picture when they come out on the big
screens that come out.
The big screen.
And you were saying they've made bowlers really different.
Yeah, they have it. I haven't seen it look like this before. It looks really, really professional. It looks slick, and that's what fighters want. But also, you can walk into this and think, oof. This is the debut for Black Flash. It's a big thing. It's on talkSPORT YouTube channel, but it doesn't seem to have phased him. He's really shone under the lights tonight, which is great to see and bodes well. Yeah,
you're right, Stacey. I think that it prepares them for those bigger nights. And I think that's what Pat Barrett was talking about. Great fighter himself back in the day, European welterweight champion. He says, listen, I want to give a little something back to the kids, and I want them to feel that taste of the big time, the big ring entrances. Coming in, the platforms, the balls. All of it is there, and he's done a great job, Pat Barrett.
Great fighter back in the day. I mean, that's an understatement. Should have been a world champion. Huge puncher. And I absolutely love watching Pat Barrett. I really did. And what he's done for Manchester boxing since then has been terrific.
That's exactly what I was just going to add. As well as the fighters getting great opportunities and ex-fighters coming back, we've seen the likes of Marcus Morrison getting, earning his stripes now as well in the corner, and Pat obviously doing his part as a promoter. So it's great to see them all still having, and we've talked about the importance of life after boxing. If they can stay involved and be a positive part of it, gives them purpose. It's vital.
Spring in his step, Owen Anderton, and he's boxing really well tonight.
Yep, another dominant round there from Owen Anderton. 3 rounds gone and 3 rounds in the bag, I'm sure. Been working everything off that jab, finding the range with the right hand as well. The variety's been good with the body shots, uppercuts through the middle.
The thing is, with his height and his size, he's only 22 years old at middleweight, so he's still got time to develop physically, and that perhaps extra power will come as he develops and as he fills out, if you like. Might even move up weights, who knows? He is only 22 years old, so there's still time to develop that physicality as well.
Spencer, I want to pick up on what you were saying in the previous round about what talkSPORT are doing with these promotions sort of up and down the country. I think it's absolutely fantastic to get this exposure for the youngsters, to almost like ease them into their careers, and they're getting used to the likes of commentators, the bright lights. Their fans can start building, the families can be either here or watch it, listen to it.
Which you don't always get on small hall shows. It all counts, doesn't it?
And
it's really good.
Do you know what it does for these kids? Because a lot of these kids, and people won't notice, the prospects especially, they're not earning, sometimes they don't earn any money from these fights. It's the opponent that has to get paid, and the prospect is obviously looking at the bigger picture and the bigger paydays and moving on to the bigger platforms. So like for these fighters, you go, sometimes it can become disheartening. I'm earning no money. I feel like I'm getting nowhere. I feel like a hamster stuck in a wheel. But now they're getting the exposure, and that gives them a little something, a little lift. And I think that was the importance from talkSPORT, speaking to the big bosses. Denny Morris said, I want to invest in these young kids, give them that to keep them, you know, keep them focused until they get on to bigger and better things. Because how many champions over the years, Adam, would you have seen, and we've seen, and Stacey, I'm sure you as well, where you're looking at them and you go, what a great young prospect, but for one reason or another the kid's left the sport because he can't support his family. Boxing at that level is just not enough.
Exactly. You've got to have good family or a sponsor or some another job, maybe. Shaquille Thompson, who's got his big opportunity on the Queensberry show tomorrow, still got a 9-to-5 job. He's come up through the small halls. Callum Simpson's another one. And yeah, sometimes they don't get paid, or they get paid very little, and they have to invest in their futures, in their careers, and it's tough.
It's also good to have that experience. Moses Town, we've been talking about that this week, about learning how to deal with the media. How do you answer questions? How do you be yourself? How do you give enough of yourself but not too much? And it's, you know, it's difficult, especially when, you know, they're young and they're still figuring that stuff out. It's an important process.
I'll tell you what, I'm super impressed with Moses. I spent a lot of time with him at events off the and out the boxing ring, and he's going to be an absolute superstar. He's cool, he's calm, and he can seriously fight.
He certainly can. I'll tell you what, he's mature beyond his years. You know, a freak of nature in many ways. When you think he's going down to spar the likes of Lawrence Okoli, who was then British champion, he's 15 years of age, hanging his school uniform up in the dressing room and going in there, and Lawrence saying, you know what, that kid's just given me the hardest spar I've ever had. And Lawrence mixing with world champions and whatnot. That underlines just how good this kid is. We don't just talk about it, the commentators, the ex-fighters, the fans, but the current fighters, the current heavyweights, they talk about how good he is. You know, the Fabio Wardleys, the Lawrence Okolis,
the AJs, the
AJs. You know, they all say the same thing. They can't all be wrong.
Nope.
Had a little go there, didn't he, Balciauskas, and didn't cause too many problems for Anderton, but just, as we say, just a little reminder that he's still in this one, and he'll have a go when he gets a chance.
Yep, just leaning back on the ropes, the old tricks from Balciauskas, sticking with Anderton, not winning the rounds.
I tell you what, Adam, Balciauskas just walked back to the corner, and that's directly above us, the red corner, and there was a sorry look on that man's face, that was for sure.
But there was after the first round, and he's still going out for more.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, that's what he is, you know, that is the character of it is. I can't keep echoing what I say these guys, they need to lose on points, and not, obviously they want to try and win, but if they're going to lose, it has to be on points, because they can't afford to get that 28-day thing.
It's interesting as well, I know in the amateurs you get certain nations that have a certain style and reputation, but you can get that in the pros to an extent as well. And Lithuanian fighters do tend to come with a reputation of being really, really tough. Same with Vadim Balciauskas, the female fighter who's a journey woman, if you like. Absolutely. I mean, she is so tough, and she's given everybody rounds at world-class level, and it's interesting how you can have that reputation of, you know, depending where you come from.
I totally agree with
up to that.
I totally agree with that. You know, your Eastern sort of fighters, the Germans who stand up tall and hold their hands up, and that Eastern European style that you get in the American style, that's the hustle and bustle, flat-footed, come in, wing the shots in, hit or not, you know, not be hit. And the British style's more in and out, light on your feet. You're so right there. You know, we never really talk about that, but like sort of different continents, different nations, all fight differently. The Africans really tough.
Different type of schooling. I remember the first time I fought an Azerbaijani, and I was thinking, what are these shots that she's throwing? It's just not something that we're taught. So it can differ. You have to adjust to it. Yeah,
it's certainly not a nice feeling when you feel like you're in the ring and they've got 4 arms, is it? And that's the sort of like that's the sort of thing that's presented to you with some of these nations, because you're not used to that style. You know, you're expecting a shot to come back from a certain angle or a certain place, and it just doesn't.
Deep into the 5th round now here. Owen Anderton, who turned over in November 2023. He's been pretty good so far, won 7 of 8, just the 1 draw against Jake Goodwin. He's won his last couple, and he's on course for a 3 in a row against this Davies Balciauskas, tough Lithuanian.
Fair play to him as well. I think this is the biggest age gap of the evening. I mean, 22 years old and 38 years old, that's some going.
You can work that one out, can't you, your maths?
Yeah, I think there's still a combined age is still a few years short lighter than me.
That means no, Adam.
Happy birthday, Spencer. 66
Listen,
today.
I might not be academically that great, but I'm streetwise, mate. I got myself out that one, didn't I?
Yeah,
you did.
Certainly 16 years difference, though. That's some going, and he's plodding forward, isn't he? In dogged
Look
style,
at that.
and he has a go when he can.
Right hand as well, covers up, blood to the bridge of the nose, but he's throwing that left hook. He's fit and he's tough, and he keeps going.
Great matchmaking, by the way, so far that we've had tonight, because you know you've got to look at the records and you go, right, he looks like he's going to win this one, but the journeyman has been brought here for a reason.
It's crucial, Spence. I mean, I don't know how many times you've been to small hall shows when it's, you know, every single one of them is really predictable, and it can get a little bit monotonous and tedious, can't it, when there's nothing coming back. But so far, all the away fighters have really made them competitive, entertaining contests and brought something different.
Balciauskas has been around for 18 and a half years as a pro, since he was 19. Now he's 38 and still racking up the rounds.
Yep, and had a good round there. He had his moments in that, Balciauskas.
He started boxing when Anderton was 4.
Yeah.
Puts it into perspective.
Yeah, absolutely does. Absolutely does. But, you know, like I say, still grinding it away, doing what's asked of him, pushing forward, not winning these rounds, but making them competitive for sure. Some of the action in that last round was good work from Anderton. We saw him switching the attacks downstairs. That jab that's been sickening for Balciauskas through the middle. But Balciauskas, to his credit, keeping his composure, coming back with the odd good shot like that right hand that we just saw there.
10 seconds, Davies.
Just looks out at the crowd, light on his feet. It's been a good workout this for the body snatcher from Wigan. Looking for his 8th victory, Owen Anderton. Black and white boots, both in the black shorts.
Lovely short right hand counter there as Balciauskas led off with a jab. He timed it perfectly, let the shot go at the same time. That's good work from the young fighter, Owen Anderton.
Only one stoppage on the record so far. Difficult against these type of fighters.
You don't get the stoppages like you did back in the day, because you know when you're if you're boxing a prospect, you get that opportunity because he's going for it. So that you know, when someone's coming for you and they're letting shots go, you can create that opening, you can present that opportunity. But when someone's very defensive and is mainly looking to survive, it's very difficult to break through the guard. And these kids now do this as a living, like Balciauskas, who's been doing it for 19 years, you know, on the road, fighting in the other guy's backyard, but he has to survive, and he's done a great job again here against Owen Anderton, who's done nothing wrong here, works well, everything behind the jab, shot selection has been great, like that left hook that just hurt Balciauskas there.
Yep.
And look at the way he come back.
Sweet body shot from Owen Anderton. Balciauskas doesn't really blink, just keeps coming back for more. After the first round, I thought he might not last a couple, but he has dug deep. And you're right, they're used to these away dates, fighting on the road, packing the bags and just digging in and getting the
a really good backhand from him there,
the points distance.
Just check the chin of Anderton. That was a great shot.
So I mean, they sort of never give up hope, do they? Like, you know what I mean? They never lose the will to win. They never lose really their soul. They're just one of those rare breed that you go to just keep plugging away, land the odd good shot. And for people like Owen Anderton, it's a little reminder to say, don't get cheeky, son. Don't get too complacent. Stay focused, because I will tag you.
I tell you what, it's a hard way to earn a living, isn't it? And I know many of them enjoy it, and they love the sport and all of that. But goodness me, some of these nights are really tough for them.
Yep, really good. And people like the Camden Caretaker and the Pocklington Rocket who we see around the scene, and they're just fantastic characters, aren't they?
They certainly are. We just come from that weigh-in, Moses Atama versus Jermaine Franklin, and we saw some of those characters at the ceremonial weigh-in, didn't we? But again, that's like their world title opportunity. They're on the big stage. You know, whether they're there for the opponent or not, they go, listen, this is what it's all about. This is what I can tell the grandkids about. You know, and that's what these guys are trying to achieve, whether they're on there to win fights or lose them. That's the opportunity.
Last 15 seconds here. Owen Anderton has boxed well tonight in Manchester. Nice uppercut to finish. He's been brave. Vadis Balciauskas, he hasn't won the rounds, but he's got through, and he can fight again pretty soon and shortly, and that's what he needs to do. He's a professional journeyman. For Owen Anderton, he will remain undefeated, and that is another good night's education.
Speaking of which, is one of the athletes for the LCE, the life-changing education programs. They sometimes go in and work with people, same as Kai Dawber, who we'll see later. Great to see them being those kind of role models. We know there's plenty of them in boxing, but it's great to see that they're going to have a positive influence on young people.
And it's some of the action in that sixth and final round. Owen Anderton doing what he was doing pretty much from the first bell, dominating behind the jab. Short work was brilliant as well, whipping in those uppercuts and then switching the attacks to the body. You can see there, Balciauskas really felt the weight of that one, but done what he'd done and showed character, bit down on the old gum shield, come back and landed a couple of shots of his own. Very impressive stuff, great performance, and I think this is a foregone conclusion. Let's go over to our MC, Aki, for the final result.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. After 6 rounds of action, we go to David Mulholland's scorecard, which reads 60 points to 54 points in favour of your winner. From Wigan, Owen, body snatcher, Anderton.
6 rounds in the bank. 9th fight for Owen Anderton, the undefeated 22-year-old prospect from Wigan in Lancashire. Another one to watch out for. I liked him, Spencer.
Yep, so right, there's a lot to like about the kid. Stays undefeated, works well, the fundamentals are great, behind the jab, right hand, and the short range for a tall kid as well. He's very good, impressive with a right uppercut, hooks to the body. There's a lot to like about him. I was saying to you, Adam, it reminds me of he looks like it, but first thing that came into my mind was the late great Johnny Owens, a great fighter back in the day. He's got similarities to Johnny Owens in looks, and that's what first caught my eye.
Yep, the matchstick man,
yep.
The late great.
But a big character, and let's throw over to Stacey Copeland. He's with Owen now.
Owen, known as the body snatcher, but that jab, it's just superb. He really found it difficult to do that jab and get past it, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. It was up to me to turn the levels up and try push the stoppage or really more convincing win, but it's just lessons.
Were you able to enjoy it in there? I mean, there's a lot of pressure, I imagine, coming in. Just signed for Black Flash Promotions. It's your debut for them. First time on talkSPORT for Black Flash. So, what was that like? Did you thrive on it? Were you nervous?
It was just normal, really, because I always put pressure on myself because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So, like when I'm not shining, I'm a bit upset. But good performance. It was very, very tough during the line.
Well, you've brought a lot of fans from Wigan, and what does it mean to have that support here?
Yeah, that's it. A massive thank you to everyone that come in, come up on coach. I could feel it in there. It was flowing. It was good.
Of course, known for football and rugby in your neck of the woods, so you're going to put them on the map for boxing?
Yeah, definitely. I say it's more football than what it is rugby, but hopefully boxing soon.
Absolutely. Well done. Congratulations. Anything you'd like to say to finish?
No, just a big thank you to Lee and the team, Pat and Black Flash for having me on, and a massive thank you to everyone coming watching me, supporting me, because I won't be able to do it without them.
Well, a great debut on Black Flash. We're looking forward to seeing you in action again. Well done.
excited about seeing him. He's a good prospect from Morecambe, in with Joe Blandford, George Killeen. We've been messaging each other a bit this week. He's in with Eduardo Vera Sanchez. He's very excited that he's going to be on talkSPORT. And Spencer Oliver and Stacey Coper will be commentated on him. And plenty more to come. Aki's going to bring the next gladiators into battle, and everyone's having a good time here at Bowlers.
They certainly are, and we're having a good time as well, reminiscing about the old days and also enjoying this one like these lot here as well. But let's get over to our MC, Aki, for the next contest. Alec McMillan just about to enter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next contest of the evening. 4 rounds sanctioned in the super welterweight division. Please welcome into the ring first from Newcastle under line, Joe Blandford.
Well, from Staffordshire, like Carl Davies, top of the bill tonight. But Joe Blandford's from Newcastle under line. And I bet he's never had an entrance like this before, and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to Joe Blandford a bit earlier on. Looking forward to this one. Only won 1 out of his five contests so far. But a great opportunity here, but he's in against a tough opponent in Alex McMillan. 2-0, one of those inside the distance. And 3 of 4 of Joe's losses have come inside the distance. So it's going to be a tough night for Joe Blandford, but I think he has prepared for that himself.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent from Morecambe, Alex, the Villain McMillan.
He's got big support, and I've seen a little bit of Alex McMillan, the Villain, under the tutelage of Josh Pritchard, who works so closely with Shane McGuigan in that fantastic stable. Caroline Dubois, of course, headlining the big show in 9 days' time in Olympia that I know Stacey and I will be at, against Terry Harper, Chantal Cameron, Ellie Scotney, Emma Dolan going for World Glory. And from Caroline's ship is Alex McMillan. I tell you what, this guy was a good amateur, and he can fight.
Yeah, he certainly can, and the crowd absolutely love him. What a crowd he's brought in here tonight.
They've actually all come in on a coach, so they will all been buzzing coming down on the coach. It's so the music crescendo now.
Could you
what's the reception, listen?
Stace, if he gets the job done here tonight, could you imagine going back on that coach with these people?
We can see some of them here.
Absolutely.
They're pretty excited, they're enjoying the moment themselves as well, and why not?
It's Team McMillan. I was shouting to a few of them at your call because Alex boxed on that Box Raw show, which was the night before Eubank Ben 2. And these, I think they're the same people that were up on the balcony at your call. They're absolutely loving it just behind us. It's a party scene in Manchester tonight, and Alex McMillan has got a fan base as well as some skills and technique. Let's have a look at him.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is presented to you by Pat Barrett and Black Flash Promotions. We are now live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing for this contest, 4 rounds sanctioned in the super welterweight division. And your officials, timekeeper Anthony Rushton, and your referee in charge of the action is David Mulholland. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the navy shorts and weighed in at 11 stone and 4 ounces. He comes to the ring with 5 contests, and he comes to us from Newcastle under line. Please welcome Joe Blandford. and his opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He wears the red and gold shorts. He weighed in at 11 stone, 3 pounds and 8 ounces. He comes to the ring unbeaten with 2 wins, no defeats, and 1 win coming by way of knockout. And he is the fighting pride of Morecambe, Alex the Villain McMillan!
Know the rules, what's the heads in close, what's the low blows, protect yourselves at all times, most of all, obey my commands at all times, just good.
Incredible.
You should go to Morecambe tonight.
What do you mean, should? I am going
Seconds
there.
out.
Going back to
Round
Morecambe,
one.
coming back to Manchester tomorrow for the big night at the Co-op, because this lot behind us, quite a fan club for Alex McMillan, the Villain, 22 years of age in fight number 3, 2 good wins so far. Very accomplished amateur as well. Nice right hand, he's got some power, and Joe Blandford has been stopped on a few occasions. So this could go quick. Body shot from McMillan. Blandford will do everything he can to try and stick with him. He's got a little bit more professional experience, but yeah, these 2 novices clashing on the big Black Flash promotion live here on the talkSPORT YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with McMillan, and he has been stopped in his last 3, Blandford, so we'll see how this one goes, but he doesn't waste any time. If he can set about his opponent, he absolutely does. He cuts the ring off well, and he gets at him, and he said in the press conference to expect excitement. He says if he can get him out of there, he will. He wants to do damage, and that is the mindset that he brings and often delivers.
Yeah, good body shot there, slammed into the side of the rib cage of Blandford, who took the shot well, to his credit. But he's not really going anywhere, Blandford. He's sitting in the pocket, he's sitting in the firing range, and that is going to cause him problems. But he's also coming back with shots as well.
I'm not sure that's a good idea to stick in the pocket with a man as strong as Alex McMillan, but he's doing that, Joe Blandford, and he's giving some real entertainment in this opening round to the fans. But McMillan is very powerful, and when he gets inside with those body shots, they could hurt. The jab's good.
The spiteful intentions with his work though as well, and I think part of that, Spence, comes from, although now he's going, obviously building up the rounds and learning, the sparring that he gets is, you know, the likes of Pat McCormack and Luke McCormack, Mike Chamberlain, who was part of Eubank Junior's camp for Dubai. That top level sparring is what we can see here coming to fruition at these early stages of his pro career.
Stacey, you've done your homework, and I just caught Marcus Morrison's eye, and I know he's impressed with this guy, Alex McMillan. I've heard a lot about him for a while. Tyson Fury's neighbour in Morecambe, but he's doing it his way. Body shots. Back comes Blandford. What a good first round.
Yeah, Blandford, to his credit, is trying to go with him, but it's causing himself problems because he's in that firing line, and McMillan targeting the body so well. Shot selection's great, short hooks to the head, switching the attacks downstairs as well. Credit to Joe Blandford, who's taking the shots and taking them quite well and coming back with shots of his own. Excellent contest here in the opening, but here goes Alex.
Shot just under the right elbow there, and he felt that. Blandford, 14 seconds left to survive. A torrid opener, and McMillan going for it. Referee taking a close look. He fires back and needed to. Blandford, but McMillan is taking him apart, and that was really impressive. And Josh Pritchard just gives a little nod to his charge. Alex McMillan is the name, and watch out for him.
He's like a composed, technical wrecking ball, isn't he? Which is what I've seen in his first couple, so I was really looking forward to seeing him from ringside.
I tell you what, Stace, Joe Blandford walked back to the corner there, and it was like he was walking on stilts. Let's take a look at some of the action in that opening round, and it was all Alex McMillan. Slowly he got into it, but but when he got into it, found that range, targeting the body, short hooks over the top as well, and them left hooks were slamming into the rib cage there of Joe Blandford right above us, and you could feel the weight of those shots. Blandford nearly unravelled towards the end of the round. Another 10-15 seconds, you wonder what would have happened. But here we go, round number 2. Can Alex McMillan build on that success? Guys, I think he can.
When I looked at the fight card tonight, and we're all here, of course, to see if Kyle Davies can continue his unbeaten run, but it was Alex McMillan's name that stood out for me, and so far he looks the shining prospect. Early days, fight number 3, but he's 22, and he looks like a fighter who could, I don't know, mix it with much older guys and more experienced
and that's what
men.
he's been doing in sparring, isn't it? And he's made that big decision to be based in London Monday to Friday, training with Josh Pritchard, of course, out of McGuigan's gym. That's a big move, and I saw a picture of him when he had Ellie Scott in his WC belt and said, I want one of these. And that's the difference in a gym like that. You've got those aspirations, you're all ambitious and hungry, and that shows his intent that he's made that move to London to progress his career.
I tell you what though, Stace, it doesn't always work out for some fighters when they mix with great fighters like that, because they can't make that transition themselves when they're sparring with them. The referee telling him to keep the punches up there. I think that was a little unjust. I think McMillan was slamming the shots in well, but yeah, sometimes making that transition from sparring in and implementing that in the ring is not as easy as it seems. But McMillan has taken to it like duck to water. You know, he's learned from these guys. He's sitting down, the confidence is there, and really drilling the shots in downstairs.
And what a place to demonstrate the skill of the body shot. Stacey and I were talking about the great late Ricky Hatton earlier, and he was the master. And look at this from McMillan, crunching in shots, rib ticklers,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I don't know how much more he can take. A minute 15, and McMillan is a predator, and this isn't going much longer.
No, shots are slamming into the head and body, and he's only moments away from getting stopped here. Joe Blandford is trying gamely to come back. Another shot goes through the middle again, and you just suspect the ending is very, very near. 55 seconds to go in this second round.
Very brave from Blandford. But
body shot again.
Stop, he's down again, and he's dusted. And it is the second stoppage win for Alex McMillan, and he celebrates with his mad fan base just behind us. And I tell you what, I am really excited about this youngster.
Yeah, he's definitely one to keep your eye on.
And he was the one that I was most looking forward to seeing tonight, obviously apart from top of the bill because the title on the line, but for that reason, because everybody's been quality tonight. We've seen a lot of good technical displays, but he has got that spike, that venom, and knows how to finish fighters, and that's what makes you excited about what's to come for them.
Yeah, Alex the villain, they're all cheering. He is definitely one to watch. Josh Pritchard, a great guy in the corner. Doesn't get a lot of attention with Shane McGuigan being such a brilliant trainer. But he knows his stuff, Josh, not just on the conditioning and assistant side, but on the coaching side too. And I tell you what, with Shane overlooking, and they've got a great setup there, and they've got a great talent on their hands.
He's a great student of the sport, isn't he, Adam? And what a story he's had. But, you know, he is a real top prospect. Didn't work out for him, and look at him setting a great example of what you can do with your life. And I think he's going to be, you know, pretty exceptional training. He will get the credit he deserves long term, but they're now doing a great job with his fighters. And McMillan is going to be able to take from the beginning what a journey they're going to have.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. Your referee in charge, David Mulholland, waves this contest off the official time, 2 minutes and 16 seconds of round number 2. Therefore, your winner by TKO, Alex the Villain McMillan.
Pat Barrett on Black Flash Promotions wants to keep hold of this guy, Alex McMillan, because he puts bums on seats. He's exciting, and they're still singing. It's going to be quite a coach load back to Morecambe tonight. And the villain who trains down south, but is from up here. Wow, he could be someone to really look out for. 22 years old. I wonder if Tyson Fury knows much about him, because he will soon.
I was going to say, if he didn't know much about him, he certainly will now. Listen, Tyson Fury's a great student of the game, and Morecambe, you know, doesn't produce that many good fighters. Tyson Fury obviously is the king of that area, and look, now we've got a new young guy coming through in Alex McMillan. He talks about it at the press conference, Alex McMillan, saying, listen, if you don't know my name, you will after this show. And I've got to say to you, that was a brilliant performance, and Stacey is now with Alex McMillan at ringside. She is about to catch up with him, so over to you, Stace.
Alex, I mean, goodness me, we'll talk about that incredible support in just a moment, but when I saw your name was on the card tonight, you were the one that I was most looking forward to, apart from the title fight, top of the bill, of course, and you lived up to it. You promised in the press conference you were going to do some damage, and you did.
That's why I'm called the villain. Every time I step into that ring, this is what I want to do. I want to put hurt on my opponent. No disrespect, I always want my opponent to come out healthy, safe, and go home to his family, but when I'm in there, I turn into a different animal. I can flick that switch. Outside the ring, everybody knows me there. I can talk to every single person here. I know life experience with every single one of them, so they know me as a person, know I'm a good person, but in there I'm a different monster.
You're in the early stages of development in your pro career, obviously, but you're getting top-level sparring. What a difference is that making with you were part of Eubank Juniors camp in Dubai, for example. What impact is that having on your development?
Yeah, it's having a massive impact. Obviously, being in the gym with all these world champions and stuff, and sparring Adam Azim, Chris Eubank, just to name a couple, it's bringing my development on so quickly. And I have to say a massive thank you to Josh Pritchard, this man here. The amount of work he's putting in with me, and he's made me into this monster that I am now. It's all credit to him, because if I didn't have Josh, these performances wouldn't be getting put on as well as they are. So a massive thank you.
And Josh, you've got an incredible story yourself as a top prospect, and now doing amazing things as a coach with McGuigan's gym, but obviously developing your own fighters. How excited are you about working with Alex?
I'm extremely excited. Alex is a hell of a prospect. He's very, very exciting. Obviously, all of these fighters need to go through these development stages of their career. However, I think Alex is ready to move on, certainly for an 8-rounder, and then possibly even challenge for an area title or English title by the end of the year. So, very exciting prospect, and I'm hugely excited about him.
I know you've got huge ambitions. I saw you had a picture of Ellis Scotney's WBC belt. So what do you think to hear Josh say that hopefully there'll be some sort of title by the end of this year?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're looking for our first title by the end of this year. That's why we want a scheduled 8-rounder next. And, you know, we're looking to move the right way. I've got all the belief in my team, so I know they're road mapping me the way it should be. And as a prospect coming through, like I am, I'm going to go through the ranks very quickly. And with this team behind me, they've done it with numerous champions, so I'm going to be the next one of them.
We can't possibly finish this without acknowledging this incredible support that you've got. What do you want to say to them?
Honestly, I thank every single one of you that have come out tonight. I love yous all. Yous are the best fans I've seen anywhere that I've been. I love yous all. I appreciate your support. Let's go to the top, baby. Come on, let's go. A massive thank you to my sponsors as well. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do it, so I love you a lot. And let's do this.
It's great to see that kind of support, and you've given them plenty to cheer about. That's going to be a fun coach trip home for sure. Listen, well done, congratulations. We can't wait to see you again. Well done.
The party will go on long into the night. Alex McMillan wins, undefeated prospect. So too is George Killeen up next against Eduardo Vera Sanchez. Then we've got Dawber against Ross McGuigan, former area champion Ross, decent cruiserweight contest. And then the big one, Carl Davies against Mickey Ellison. And that's the main event tonight, 10 3-minute rounds. Black Flash Promotions. Enjoying tonight alongside Stacey Copeland, who's been attacking the chocolate, as has Spencer Oliver, but it's his birthday, so
I
you
thought it just
can.
looked like a giant chocolate button next to Spencer.
Right,
They're
wait.
actually called gigantic buttons.
Gigantic button.
Yeah, but listen, Adam Smith bought these gigantic buttons. He said, if he's fancy to eat, Spence, a little bit of fruit. No thanks, Adam, don't eat fruit. What about some crisps?
Grapes.
What about some crisps? Yeah, we're getting closer now. I've got some giant buttons. Yeah, great. Let's do some giant buttons, but they are ginormous buttons.
They are giant buttons. The villain is heading back to the changing room, and Aki's ready to bring the next fighters in.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next contest of the evening. 6-round sanction in the welterweight division. Please welcome into the ring first from Quintaro, Mexico, Eduardo Vera Sanchez.
I think I see him most weeks, Eduardo Vera Sanchez from Mexico. I certainly see him more than I do you, Spencer, and I see you pretty regularly.
Well, Adam, we see each other pretty much every week, so you must be this guy. Mind you, he does box a couple of times a week, I suppose, from time to time. Much better than his record would suggest, by the way. Only 2 out of the 22 fights that he's had are victories. But don't read too much into that, because the kid will come and he will have a go.
He's a real thick set, isn't he? But he's a wily character as well, and not been stopped in 18 losses, so something that George might want to change this evening. Certainly can't miss him in those shorts anyway, Spence, can you?
No, might borrow them later on.
On that coat trip to Morecambe.
Now you're getting there. Anyone got any sunglasses?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent from right here in Manchester, George Killeen.
Certainly can, and getting the treatment that he deserves here tonight. George Killeen, if you've not seen him, sit back and enjoy it, because this guy can really deliver.
He's not milking it, he just wants to get on with it.
Yeah, he certainly does. My cousin Dale, who's a journeyman, Dale Hammersmith, he's over 150.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is presented to you by Pat Barrett and Black Flash Promotions. We are now live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing for this contest. 6-round sanctioned in the super welterweight division. Your officials, timekeeper will be Amjad Ditta, and your referee in charge of the action is A-star referee Steve Gray. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the grey shorts and he weighed in at 11 stone 2 pounds and 12 ounces. He comes to the ring with 22 professional contests. De Quintaro, Mexico, please welcome Zurdo Eduardo Vera Sanchez. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He wears the red, white and black shorts, and he weighed in at 11 stone 3 pounds and 8 ounces. He comes to the ring unbeaten, 12 wins, no defeats, and 2 wins come by way of knockout. He comes to us from right here in Manchester. Please welcome George Killeen.
Okay, boys, if a cold break, I expect to take one step back. Don't deliberately throw punches down the back of the head. Take yourself
Tonight I've just caught Pat Barrett's eye. He's in the blue corner with a big hug for George Killeen, undefeated and a hot prospect from Manchester. How often have we said that over the years?
Yep, there's been many of hot prospects who have gone on to be brilliant champions. And is this another one that we're going to see break through? He's done nothing wrong so far, George Killeen.
I was really impressed with Niall Brown the other night in Belfast, and Pat Barrett has him. Of course, Lyndon Arthur is a great stable, and he's such a wise boxing man, as well as a former terrific fighter, trainer, manager. He does everything, doesn't he? Promoter.
Listen, I'm impressed with the show that he's put on here this evening. You know, you look at it, you look at the production, you go, you know, you feel slightly rude saying this is small hall show, the way that he's done this and the way he's put it together. It really is first class.
Yep,
and sorry, Adam, the fights have been brilliant as well. I hope you, the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube listeners and viewers, are enjoying this.
Yeah, all week there's been
from George, isn't it? He's taking the centre ring and he's pushing him back. He's got that huge height advantage and just towers above Sanchez.
Beautiful jab, Stacey.
Yeah, really nice, clean, crisp work so far. It's a good start from him.
Tell you what though, Sanchez knows his way around the ring. I think I saw him box last week at York Hall, Bethnal Green, and he's just like one of them guys that just
he
knows.
fought last Friday on the Walsh undercard.
That's right, and he just knows how to survive, the kid.
He doesn't get stopped, does he?
No, he's just very, very clever. Uses that lack of height to his advantage. Very wily, as you said, Adam Smith. He just knows how to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, but it's been a really good week of media attention on this fight. They've done a great job. Black Flash, and a full crowd here, and long arms and sweet boxing in the first couple of minutes from George Killeen.
Starting to build his name round here as well. He actually featured in the Manchester United programme in January, which it does help. You know, it kind of, you know, people get to know you and they'll look out for you next time, and there might be, you know, people watching now because of that. So these are all important aspects, and as you know, the building up.
As you know, there's so much more, isn't there, Stacey, to just performing in the ring?
Yeah, of course. Now in the age of social media, and sometimes people can get big opportunities because of that, can't they? So anything that helps, fighters will do, and some of them, of course, naturally their personality lends it to some. They have to work a bit at it, but
yeah, Spencer had a decent personality back in the day, the Omen. That was quite fun working with him.
I was going to say,
a bit bland now, to be honest.
What happened? I lost that 20 years ago.
Birthday, I didn't, dear me.
I know, it's going well with this. You're putting giant chocolate buttons up against my head and taking photos, and Adam said I lost my personality 20 years ago.
On your birthday. You've had a great day, haven't you?
I certainly have. It's been a brilliant day working with you guys.
Come on, make up for it, Spencer.
Just give me them sunshine glasses and then shorts.
I like that sharp jab from Killeen, and also the way that he goes up to the head, down to the body, back in and out, adjusts his feet. I think that's been a really solid, quality technical first round from him, and he controlled every aspect of it there. Looked fully dominant. Good performance.
He did, Stacey. You know, George Killeen, as we said, is a great talent, and he's some of the action in that first round, and he was doing nothing stupid, working everything off the jab. Sanchez, who we've seen in the past, goes down into that crouch, but wings those shots over and can be quite dangerous because you don't see them sort of shots coming. But Killeen was controlling the space well, not taking any chances, and a dominant first round.
George Killeen's also one of the only fighters I know whose hair just does not move. Like, there's not a single hair out of place.
10 seconds, corners.
I don't know how he does it. Look, it's just absolutely in the same position the whole way through.
He's got
round two.
I think they call that a beautiful head of hair. That's what they call that.
Spence lost that with his personality years ago.
Yeah, but I had it put back in, it's all right.
I think his hair's gone back, and also his personality came back, because when I said that, he's absolutely up your game now.
Absolutely, I'm back in the game, mate. I'm back in the game.
Second round here, the red and black of George Killeen from the city of Manchester, with these long arms and good boxing knowledge. It's his, I think, 10th fight at Bowlers, so he's made it a bit of a home.
Yep, he's very comfortable in his surroundings, and he's comfortable in this fight at the moment as well. Sanchez boxing out of the southpaw style, making things very tricky, as we would expect, but that's a great opportunity for Killeen to do something that no one else has managed to do and try and get this job done inside the distance. No signs of that yet, but a good dominant performance so far from George Killeen.
Might be on his mind. I mean, it's not something that you're taught to aim for, is it? But you're not supposed to force it. But he's on the back of your mind if he's not been stopped in 18. And you mentioned about bowlers. Yeah, it's pretty much been his home. But he was out in Vegas for the Canelo and Crawford. And sometimes that being part of that big environment can really inspire you, can't it? And drive that hunger and that desire when you get back in the gym back home. And if you're going to go to a fight in Vegas, that's not a bad one to go to, is it?
No, that's one that's going to go down in history.
Do you know what he reminds me of a little bit? Martin Murray, that sort of very classy, tucked-up style. He's got long arms here, George Killeen. Murray, obviously, a bigger fighter at middle and then super middle. This is at super welterweight, but you know what I mean? He doesn't look like he's got many flaws.
That's a big shout, that. Yeah, everything he does, nothing he does is exceptional, but everything he does is solid. Controls the space well, and that's what he's doing here. Not taking any chances, reaching with that jab, but not really stepping in and committing with it, and just looking for the openings. He's just pot-shotting away.
He's aware of that sometimes wild overhand that Sanchez can throw as well, which he does from time to time, and he's not managed to land it on Killeen, and that's because he's been controlling that distance.
The other one I was thinking of from Lancashire was Michael Jennings as well, the welterweight, who was a very decent fighter, world level really, and now an excellent trainer, of course.
Yeah, Michael Jennings, didn't he get his opportunity against Miguel Cotto? Was it Miguel Cotto he boxed out in New York?
Yep, unfortunately, that night. But he was a good British champion, wasn't he?
It's a different kind of approach, this as well, isn't it, Spence? Because he's having to punch down, because obviously there's a huge height discrepancy, and that can make you have to adjust things slightly, can't it?
Absolutely, and I think that what he recognises with Eduardo Sanchez is that this guy, although he's only won 2 out of his 22 contests, he knows how to survive. He can be a little bit dangerous, and he will take his opportunity if he gets it. So George Killeen is boxing with maturity here, not doing anything stupid. And like you say, Stace, when you're punching down, that gives your opponent an opportunity to land a shot on the way up.
Yeah.
You know, punching,
just crouching slightly, isn't he, to sort of change the levels a bit.
Absolutely, but I think if you look at Sanchez, the way that he's boxing, he's probably standing about as tall as a 4-foot man, because he's crouching down and using that lack of height to his advantage. So George Killeen is trying to adjust, keeping his back straight, sitting down and trying to throw the shots, but not going too far down. So I like what he's doing here. Great boxing IQ that he's showing, not taking any chances. But I would just like to see him starting to step it up a little bit more now. Let's go into phase 2 and phase 3. Yeah, okay, you felt him out a little bit. You're in control. Let's put your foot on the gas a little bit.
Into the third round of 6 in the super welterweight division. On fire at the moment, Bilal Fawaz. Where's he come from? What a great story. Josh Kelly winning a world title. Absolutely brilliant. The 154-pound brigade. Really, really exciting division. George Killeen wants to play his part. It's early days yet. He only turned 3 years ago. But it's been so far so good for
and he's
this.
Only 22 years old.
Yeah,
as well,
only 22, Stacey. Just like Alex McMillan. They're coming through, aren't they? I was saying about the Matchroom show last week with George Liddard, 23, Giorgio Vizioli, Adam Macker, Taylor Bevan.
It's the next generation, isn't it?
Like an exciting time, isn't it?
It really is. You look at the heavyweight division and you look at Derek Chisora, Deontay Wilder, who are fighting on April the 4th, and you got Tyson Fury coming back, Anthony Joshua coming back, but them guys are at the end of their careers. And then you look at the generation coming through, like, you know, your Fabio Wardleys, your Daniel Dubois, who's already been a world champion but still only 27 years of age. Then you look at those younger generation coming through. The next crop are coming through, which is great for the sport and great for British boxing.
So dominant with the jab, Killeen. I mean, he's barely had to use anything else in his arsenal. He's been able to keep him at bay and push him back and just be stabbing that jab in, almost like Lyndon Arthur, which obviously under Pat Barrett's tutelage as well. He's known for having that incredible jab, and he's used it so effectively here, as George.
I love watching Lyndon Arthur. What a smooth fighter he is, and he just won't go away. It's almost like a fine wine with Lyndon. He keeps on delivering, and yeah, Pat Barrett knows his stable well, knows when to put them in the right sort of fights, and this is a good one for George Killeen because Eduardo Vera Sanchez is very tough and very difficult to prize open, so Killeen's going to have to work for it.
Yeah, he is tough and he will be difficult to prize open, Adam, but now look where he is. Killeen standing in front of him, Sanchez pinned in the corner. Now step round the side, take your back foot round, create that opportunity, create that opening. You have to create the openings with people like this, otherwise they defensively they're really, really sound. So
well, he's just happy to go from one corner to the next, isn't he? He plants that back foot, leans back, puts all his weight on that back foot, and then he's just trying to absorb some of these shots.
But if you look at Killeen's feet there, if he swings the back foot round, pivots around,
yeah.
Or you know, he's going to create that opening for the left hook through the middle, up the middle.
Angles and maybe try and work the body just under those elbows. There's occasionally a little gap as he goes back into his own corner.
We talk about angles and we talk about fighters from Manchester, and no one done it better than the late great Ricky Hatton. You remember the way he used to swing from one angle round to the next and then break his opponents up with the body shot. That's what I'm talking about. You know, this younger generation, George Killeen, they should be looking at fighters like Ricky Hatton. And yeah, he was an all-out explosive fighter, but there was great boxing IQ behind it, the way that he'd done it. He you know, it was workman-like, stepping around the sides, throwing the shots up the middle, creating his own opportunity. This is the kids need to be watching fights like that to progress themselves. And I think that if I've got a criticism about George Killeen, who's been boxing brilliantly here, by the way, so this is constructive criticism, is to go back, look for tapes of the people like Ricky Hatton, where you're working the angles, creating the openings, and that's how you deal with tricky customers like Eduardo Sanchez.
I think George should bottle up that last minute, Spencer, and take that over
10
with
seconds,
tonight.
corners.
That's a really important thing. It's constructive criticism. He's boxing well, doing
Seconds
nothing
out.
wrong, but it's to improve and look back at those great performances from Ricky Hatton and the way he did it, because he was so intelligent in the ring. People said he was just a bit of a brawler at times. He wasn't. He was very, very clever. He was intelligent the way he made those openings, side to side, unlocking fighters, and the art of the body shot being destructive.
And straight down the middle to the middle of his torso. He's wide open because his elbows are so high, his hands are high. So even if he can't get around the back of the elbow, just to really sink the backhand into that midriff would perhaps just change things up a little bit, because he is happy at the moment just to go corner to corner and absorb what's coming at him.
And Killeen's happy as well, just to sort of utilise the jab and poke it out and just remain in control.
That's exactly it, Adam. I think that, you know, George Killeen at the moment, if you look at him, everything will come behind the jab. Will fake the jab, whip the right hand in, step round the side, whip the left hook in, whip it underneath. There's loads of ways you can create openings, but whilst he's doing this, everything behind the jab, textbook boxing, straight right hand down the middle. Yes, that works for some people.
Tends to be how Pat's fighters fight, though, isn't it? Lyndon's like that, Zelf's was like that when he was with him, of course. That it's very considered, very calculated. That tends to be the style in his gym, and it's effective.
Listen, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's great, you know. There's nothing wrong with them foundations at all. But I say, if you want
as much in your locker as possible.
Absolutely. Listen,
there might come a day when you need to detonate something to
like this, like now. Not that he's losing the fight, but you go like, if you had that in the locker, then this might be an easier night. You might not have to go 6 rounds. We don't get paid for overtime. We can get it done in 1. Let's get it done in 1. That's sort of pretty where you're at.
He's only got 2 knockouts on the slate, and maybe that is it. It is the boxing that he's mastering, which is obviously very good at 22. He's got a wise head already for someone that young, but maybe against an Eduardo Vera Sanchez, who's never stopped anyone, only got 2 wins on the record. It's an opportunity to try these things out.
Yeah, totally agree with that, Adam. And he's doing.
There might come a stage, or there will come a stage, when you do need that. When, you know, they're just as technically gifted as you. You know, they're just as got tactical nous and boxing IQ just as much of you, just as well conditioned. You might have to have something else in your locker.
And I know it's a bit unfair, but we've just seen Alex McMillan light up the place, and it is about making statements. And you're live on talkSPORT YouTube. It's very pretty, it's technically excellent, but it's almost... Pat Barrett in the corner, and yeah, everything from a good, solid foundation. The jab, he's utilised it really well tonight, but maybe just some combinations, some angles, some better feet against Eduardo Vera Sanchez, the Mexican who is not going anywhere.
Ten seconds, corners. Seconds out. Round 5.
6 minutes left in this super welterweight division. Fight number 13 for George Killeen. It's not been unlucky for him tonight. He's boxed well against Eduardo Vera Sanchez in these silver trunks. The southpaw from Mexico, who we've seen so many times. He had 10 fights in 2025. And he looks like he's pretty fresh still.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
used a lot over here now as well. I mean, he'd only fought in Mexico before he came over here last year, so now he's, and again, they'll see this as an opportunity to get more work for them, won't they?
It's like a new life, isn't it, for him?
Listen, he's loving life at the moment. Trust me, when you fight over in Mexico, you're in tough fights and you're getting paid peanuts. Over here, he's probably getting paid very well to be the opponent, to develop these young fighters, and he's doing well, staying out of trouble. You know, and you'll see him in the ring again next week. We saw him in last Friday. This Friday he's here again. He might make it a hat-trick, Adam, and go next week.
I'm sure he will. What was it like, Spencer? You mentioned Peter Buckley earlier, sort of tackling these journeymen early on in your professional sort of embryonic journey. Did you get frustrated? I mean, put yourself in Killeen's shoes now. What's he thinking?
Well, listen, I think when I boxed Peter Buckley, I had him down on the floor, and it was a great performance because Peter hadn't been knocked down before and all that sort of stuff, so that went really well. I think the frustrating one for me was Des Gargano, who had 123 fights, only won about 18 of them, knew his way around the ring, and he gave me a frustrating night and taught me a harsh lesson about professional boxing. And that's sort of what Sanchez is doing here to Killeen, because he's coming forward and he can't figure it out at the moment, George.
His son Curtis is a real character as well in the Manchester boxing scene. Des's son. They've got a real legacy in these parts as well.
Absolutely, what a guy that was. And I'll tell you a little story about Des Gargano. Straight after that fight, I went and sat next to him. It was up in Scotland on the undercard of Drew Docherty, Alfred Cote, and he was sitting there rolling a fag because you could smoke indoors at them times. And I sat next to him and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And he tapped me on the back and he went, well done, son, you'll go far in the game, brilliant performance. And I looked at him and I went, that's what it was like. I was just like, incredible, what a guy. And like, I learned so much from that man, and unfortunately he's no longer with us. You know, but he was a real big character of the sport, and that's what makes these. And it was on a show like this, Adam.
I was there for Cote against Drew Docherty, good days, and Scottish boxing reviving. We're back there with Nathaniel Collins in a few weeks' time. Always good to get up and down the length and breadth of the UK. We've had shows in Belfast, Dublin recently as well. This week it's all about Manchester. Eduardo Vera Sanchez trying to throw his own combination. This crafty southpaw from Mexico. That's a nice backhand from him, and he liked that.
Yep. Old Eduardo looked very pleased with himself as he sat down in the stall directly above us. 5 rounds gone, 5 rounds behind, but no damage, Adam.
Do you know what? He's learnt the art of surviving so well. If his career had gone differently and he'd been a ticket seller, and those talents could have gone the other direction, couldn't it?
100%, that's the path they choose. That is the path that they choose. Not that they're good fighters, or not good fighters. They are good fighters, but they go, right, how do I earn the most money here? Am I willing to sacrifice it all to possibly make nothing out of the game because I don't reach that level? So I'm paying for myself, like people like George Killeen would be doing right now. You know, where he's going, he's not really earning anything from this, but his dreams and his aspirations are far higher. Where the real one, the running away with it, is Sanchez, who could have been a prospect but chose the other path. That's the reality of where it is, and that's the importance of having guys like Eduardo Vera Sanchez in the game.
Final round. Well done, Eduardo. You have done it again. Looks like he'll hear the final bell, and George Killeen will tick off round number 66 in a professional career that started in 2023. 11 of these 13 have been right here at Bowlers, and he's building a fan base in Manchester. And technical, clean, cool boxing from Killeen tonight.
Yep, really is dominating behind that jab, and a massive weekend of boxing we got up here in Manchester on the talkSPORT platform tomorrow night. We've got the big one. Moses Atauma goes in against Jermaine Franklin. Could this be the launch pad for Moses Atauma and do what the others couldn't do? Anthony Joshua, Dillian White and others, and get rid of Franklin inside the distance. That's all live on the talkSPORT platform from 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Yep, fascinating main event and part of the Magnificent Seven, which also features that terrific matchup between Willie Hutchinson and Ezra Taylor, also Shaq Thompson and Brad Pauls. There are some really good fights. Nathan Heaney, I think, has bought about 3,000 up from Stoke, and some of those will be here to support Kyle Davies, who's coming up in a couple of fights' time. Really intriguing to see how Kyle does in fight number 12 against a very experienced Mickey Ellison. That's our main event. Still to come, one more though after that. Kai Dawber against Ross McGuigan at cruiserweight. And how do we think he's going to do, Killeen, at super welterweight, Stacey? Only the 2 knockouts. Has he got the power? Has he got the variety? He's certainly got plenty to like about him.
I think this has been an excellent technical display. There's no doubt about that. I mean, particularly that jab. It's just picked him off with it and been really effective with it. He's not been too much able to come back from Sanchez. And usually he does have a go, but there's been very little coming from him. And I think the fact that he's only 22 years old, they'll take the time with him, they'll guide him, and maybe that power will come. It comes also with the physicality, but also, as I'm sure you'll agree, Spence, with knowing how do you set up those shots. And it's really difficult to do against these wily characters. I said at the beginning, he's really robust, he's thick set, so hard to break down. So he's not necessarily a fighter that you can show your absolute best, showcase all your skills, but clearly a great foundation for Killeen, loads to build in, loads to like. The next stages, though, it'll come with guiding him right and matching him right.
Absolutely, and loads to work on, and that's the importance of this at this level. You go, right, let's take what we've done wrong, go back to the drawing board and work on that. And you just highlighted all of those areas, Stace, and we've talked about that through the fight. Overall, brilliant performance, done nothing wrong.
It's interesting there, Spence, as soon as the bell went, then there was a shake of the head from George, which may infer that he's not too happy with his performance. I'll ask him in a moment, but he shook his head then, and body language wise doesn't look too pleased with his performance.
That's a good spot, Stacey. I think that he was in so much control from start to finish. He probably felt he could go up the gears a bit. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear his answers when you speak to him. Spencer, he can't be too hard on himself because he got the rounds in against a tough veteran in Eduardo Vera Sanchez, and he moves on. But it's about learning, isn't it, at this stage? He's only 22.
Absolutely, some of the work there in the 6th and final round, and that's exactly what it is, Adam. About learning. Listen to the comms, take what you want out of that, take some of the constructive criticism from it. We're not saying, listen, we're talking about this kid because he's a talent, and I think that's good. Then, if anything, if you're talking about someone and you're talking about the stuff that they need to be doing and building on, then you know that they must be doing something right, and he is doing something right. Now he's 13-0, 2 of those inside the distance, but let's just work on some other little things to kick you on and take you to that next level. Pat Barrett is a great guy. He understands the game inside out. He's pleased with that performance, but he'll know he's got things to work on there as well. He's under excellent tutelage with Pat Barrett, and I'm sure he can go on, and it won't be one of his finest nights, not one that he will particularly want to remember, but the victory is the victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. After 6 rounds of action, we go to referee Steve Gray's scorecard, which reads 60 points to 54 points in favor of your winner from Manchester, George Killeen.
too low with the lows and not getting too high with the highs. Not getting too carried away with yourself if you stop someone and you blast them out there in the first round, but not being too disappointed if you don't put in the performance that you want, because sometimes, not for want of trying, do everything, and it just doesn't quite happen. It's about getting that context and that perspective and building.
Stace, we all do that, and that's the point. You know, we're all in. You know, we're all guilty of having off nights, off performances, maybe not delivering what we should have delivered. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, he's won the fight and won it clearly. 60-54, won every single round. So look, it's a victory. Be pleased with it, go away with it, build on it. We're talking about him because he's a good little talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the ring very, very shortly. And I think that Stacey has now gone to catch up with George Killeen. She's just about to speak with George and Pat Barrett, the promoter of tonight's show. So let's get over to Stacey Copeland at ringside. Over to you, Stace.
George, you didn't look too happy at the end of that performance there. There was a little bit of a shake of the head. Were you disappointed with that performance?
Look, you've got to be happy. I've just won 6 rounds against a tough opponent. So I'm just disappointed that I didn't put my foot on the gas more, but been out the ring a little bit, had a few things going on, so get back straight to it.
And he's not been stopped in 18, so he's a tough, durable opponent. What was your plan going in, having been out the ring for a while? What was that mindset and approach tonight?
It was obviously just to work off the jab, get used to the southpaw stance, work off the jab. I didn't do it as much as I liked, but look, I'm happy. I'm back in the ring, I'm back doing what I love, so happy days.
There's lots to work on, but a great foundation here, and it's part of this is about not getting too high with the highs or too lows with the lows, and in perspective he's building, and it was a good performance.
Do you know what, he's a young kid. I've got all the time in the world with him. I'm not in no rush. He's still learning on the job. He's Commonwealth Youth Silver Belt, champion. So, he's got the basic fundamentals, which is the jab, which is a lot of fighters trying to establish that. My job as a trainer makes it a lot easier for when I do go back. I've got all the time in the world, and I know by the time I get with him and by the time he matures, all them fundamentals will come natural. Plus, I'm his promoter as well, so you know what I mean.
You're only 22 years old, and you pretty much dominated that whole contest with the jab. What is the sort of plan for you this year now that you've got back in and got that one under your belt?
I'm going to get back to an 8-rounder back here in May, I think, and then probably defend my youth belt. That's probably why I'm a little bit disappointed, because last time I got out of a ring, I've just won my first title. I did a very good performance against an unbeaten kid who had Ellison in his corner. It was a good night, and then obviously I boxed well tonight, but I know my level. I know I can do a lot better, but with them opponents, it's tough.
Yeah, it's all part of the ups and downs of it. I'll tell you who's not disappointed. A very proud mum and dad over there who've been cheering for you, and all these supporters as well. Bit of a home for you bowlers. What do you want to say to everyone who supported you?
Just thank you to everyone that comes out to support, because I won't be here without all these people and my sponsors and my shorts, and I won't be here without them, and thanks to Pat.
Well, listen, I hope you're not too disappointed, because that was a good performance against a decent opponent. 22 years old, plenty more to come, so we're looking forward to seeing you out again.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
George Killeen's family. Dawber and Ross McGuigan coming up momentarily. Good performance that from the 22-year-old from Manchester. Boxed well, and he's celebrating with his nearest and dearest. There'll be more to come. So young, so talented. Plenty to like about him. We're live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. It is the Black Flash Promotions, and it is accurate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next contest This contest is our co-main feature event, 6-round sanction in the cruiserweight division. Please welcome into the ring first from London, Ross Fine Wine McGuigan.
I think Emma Doda might be coming out to this in a week's time or so for her world title challenge. Conor Benn, of course, did with those incredible drums at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ross McGuigan chooses Phil Collins, former Southern Area champion. He's had a bad spell of late, but he can fight.
Absolutely, decent fighter. You know, he's a win one, lose one type of guy, but must be respected because he comes to win. You give him that opportunity and he takes it. We've seen that in the past. And Kai Dawber will have to be on the ball here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent from Wigan, Kai Dawber.
To welcome Kai Dawber from Wigan, the unbeaten hope, into the ring.
Yeah, here he comes, Kai Dawber, 7-0, 2 of those inside the distance. He's brought a good crowd with him here as well. And really looking forward to the performance. Both of these guys should be a great little contest. This one, 6 rounds in the cruiserweight division.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is presented to you by Black Flash Promotions and Pat Barrett, and we are now live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing for our co-main feature event, 6 rounds of boxing sanctioned in the cruiserweight division. And this evening we are proudly sponsored by Exigo, Cooney Installations, Manchester Joinery, House of Gold Productions, Rival and Magna Projects. Your officials for this contest, your timekeeper will be Anthony Rushton, and your referee in charge of the action is David Mulholland. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the black and gold shorts and he weighed in at 14 stone 5 pounds and 12 ounces. He comes to the ring with 14 contests, including 7 wins and 1 win by knockout, presenting the former Southern Area champion from Peckham, London, Ross Fine Wine McGuigan. And his opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He wears the black shorts and he weighed in at 14 stone and 7 pounds. He comes to the ring unbeaten with 7 wins against no defeats, and 2 of his wins come by way of knockout. He comes to us from Wigan, Lancashire. Please welcome Kai Dawber.
From the Bubbles Boxing Gym, Kai Dawber, the 25-year-old, fight number 8 in his professional learning. He turned in March 2024, and he's looked pretty impressive since. He's coming off a couple of stoppage wins as well. But the step up in class, certainly on paper, against Ross McGuigan, who's sprung a few upsets in his time. He's won 7 of his 14, calls himself Fine Wine. He's 40 these days. He doesn't look a day over 30, does he?
No,
That's a great alias, isn't it, that Fine Wine? What a great name to have. Fine Wine McGuigan, brilliant. He often has it on the back of his shorts, doesn't he, on the back of his waistband. But yeah, that's a great name. He's been in with some decent, with Vidal Riley, he boxed, so former Southern Area champion as well. So he's been in with some decent class of opposition.
Yeah, Vidal stopped him, I think, in 3. Gradis Kraus as well, the hot hope from Holland in a couple, but they can really punch. Kai Dawber, those 2 stoppages, the first ones on his slate so far. He's quite upright, he's got a good jab, he's got big strong legs, he's physically always in good shape.
Yep, certainly is. Looks brilliant tonight, doesn't he, Kai Dawber?
Another new signing for Black Flash Promotions as well. He had some sparring with Tommy Fury last month, so I don't know how much it'll help in boxing, but he's probably got his followers up, I would imagine.
Tommy's got a big fight coming up, hasn't he?
Yes.
My daughter was certainly excited about that.
Absolutely, listen.
Nobody was ever interested in him being in, because he trained at Hattons, didn't he, at first? There was no interest. He went on Love Island and suddenly all of us were getting messages. There was people queuing up outside the gym, all trying to see him. It was it was something to behold, the difference it makes on Love Island.
And he's chose that path. You know, I was speaking to big John Fury about that last week, actually. I interviewed John Fury and he was talking about, you know, the road that he was going to take. And he took that road because that was where the opportunity was and that's where the financial reward was. So you can't judge Tommy for that.
Nice right hand from Dawber. Best shot of the opening couple of minutes.
It could really heat up this one. I think they're obviously feeling each other out in this early stage, but it could really catch fire. There's a nice 1-2 there from Dawber.
Yep, just fell short with that right hand, didn't he? McGuigan just seemed to get himself out of the way of that one, but McGuigan is not afraid to let a shot go himself, and I'm with you, Stace. I think there's a feeling out process here. Both of these guys are showing a lot of respect to each other, but that will soon go out the window, and I believe they'll start throwing.
And he's difficult, he's a bit of a conundrum to work out at first, McGuigan, because he's got that relaxed guard, those jerky movements.
And the quick counter punches, that's the way he does.
From setting yourself, can't it? So Dawber's got to just figure that out, and then I think it could catch fire, this one.
Did throw a body shot, Dawber, and trying to find the gaps in McGuigan's makeup, but Ross occasionally just finds a way to navigate rounds. He's got a draw against Tom Simmons, who was unbeaten. If he can get into a fight, he can prove difficult to shift.
He's got plenty of fights lined up though, so he's not going to want to take too many risks. As it is, as we've mentioned before, it's paydays, livelihoods. You want to make sure you don't miss that purse. So perhaps that might affect him with getting in too much of a brawl. But I do think there's potential for this one just to get going a little bit.
Yeah, Ross McGuigan still, although, you know, he's lost 6 out of his 14 contests, he still has that winning mentality. He has pulled off just a couple of good wins when he is the underdog. And Dawber, don't get me wrong, he's starting the favourite here, but they was both very tentative. Dawber doing the better work with the 1-2s upstairs, working well behind the jab. Not really a lot coming back from Ross McGuigan. But I'm with Stacey Copeland, as in, I think this one could catch fire, should catch
10
fire.
seconds, bonus.
Let's see how we go here in round number 2.
Seconds out. Round 2.
Second of 6 in the cruiserweight division. The black, white and gold with McGuigan on the trunks. That's Ross from Peckham. Fight number 15 for him. He's won 7, lost 6. Been stopped a couple of times, so patchy record, but former area champion, and a step up for the prospect Kai Dawber from Wigan. Couple from Wigan on this card.
Yep, there is. And there's good support come down from Wigan here as well. And Dawber has brought some of those down. Started this second round well, found the range with the jab. Couple of right hands got through as well. Just stabbed the jab to the body. There's better work here from Kai Dawber at the beginning of the second.
Yeah, cranked up the heat, hasn't he here, Kai Dawber? He's had a look at McGuigan, Stacey, and now he's going to try and detonate a couple of big bombs, I think. But yeah, McGuigan comes back with his own.
He got caught there with a big right hand and a hook, and I tell you what, McGuigan knows that. He caught him with a shot and Dawber's legs just done a little dance there, guys.
Yep, he was going for it, and McGuigan with a countering shot, and there's the smile. And I told you, if McGuigan gets into a fight, he can get very interesting.
He just had that air about it, didn't it, in that first round, that there was just that bit of edge and tension that you felt it could really just kick off, and these two could have some interesting exchanges, and we got a glimpse of it then.
Well, you was right on cue, Stace. That's exactly what you're talking about. I think that McGuigan must have heard you, because Dawber threw the shot and McGuigan caught him on that quick counter punch. He's dangerous with a quick check left hook like that one there, and that's the one that Kai Dawber's got to be careful of. That he doesn't get caught, doesn't get too lazy, too greedy as he's throwing his shots, because Ross McGuigan's dangerous on the counter.
It's a really good matchup, this, as the co-main event.
I think that's why he's got that up and down record that Adam just mentioned, because he's been in contention for area title fights, so that's where he's put everything on the line. But there's that bit of warrior in him that if he gets a chance to go, he'll go.
Yep, Dawber stalking forward, trying to create something, looking for an opening, but McGuigan seems to have things under control at the moment. His game plan is to counter punch.
And it wasn't that smart, just taking the space, closing it down, smothering him, not giving Dawber a chance to throw. Just those little bits of experience, aren't there? It's just smart work to just break that attack down.
Just a bit stiff in the shoulders, Kai Dawber. Has got to be careful of McGuigan's hand speed at 40. He's not done, is he?
No, certainly not done. Still very live opponent, dangerous opponent as well. Can whack a little bit. There we see him going for the body shot. Dawber come back with a good shot of his own.
Yeah, good jab and a right hand then. Closing the round well here. Kai Dawber had his wobble, but he's seen it through. There's real respect between this pair now.
Yep, there certainly was. The end of that round, one apiece for me there. I think that McGuigan sort of pulled himself back into that, and that was with that good flurry he had. Hopefully we can take a look at that in the replays. Let's see if we pick that up. And as he comes in, Dawber, he gets lazy, gets greedy, stays there, and McGuigan comes back with some brilliant counter punches of his own.
That check lead hook that you called, Spence, is a great shot from McGuigan when he gets it off. A little layback. And
there was the shots that I was talking about. You see the legs do a funny dance there. He backs off Dawber, but that was the combination I was talking about. Fortunately for Dawber, McGuigan's missed a shot and slipped.
Yeah, look ready to pounce.
10 seconds, Davies.
He's got his nephew in the corner here as Ross McGuigan, and I saw something on social media of him getting him to carry all these bags to the hotel room, so he's certainly earned his place at ringside. Yeah. Great to see his nephew with him, and this is a great thing to hopefully inspire him as well. And
absolutely, absolutely. That's what it's all about, right?
Into the third round. Good one, this, in the cruiserweight division at Bowlers. Friday night for you.
Little marked up there, isn't it, under his right eye.
Right eye. Problems for Ross McGuigan. Fine wine from Peckham. Kai Dawber from Wigan. Fight number 8. He's been a pro 2 years. What do we think about him?
Listen, no one really stamped their authority in this contest yet. No one's got a foothold of it. Oh, good right hand there, though, from Dawber.
And a left hook. He complains to the referee, Ross McGuigan.
Yeah, he wasn't happy there, McGuigan. That's never a good sign when a fighter's complaining to the referee. And these Dawber, as I said, no one's got a foothold of this. Dawber now is getting a foothold of this.
Starting to get his hooks going here. Dawber, and blood from the nose of Ross McGuigan.
He's tied him up well on a couple of occasions, McGuigan, when he's needed to. So that means that Dawber's going to have to adjust now and make sure that he doesn't fall in these attacks. Sometimes just takes that little step out so that he can create the space to continue a sustained attack, because otherwise he's getting tied up like McGuigan just attempted to do there. So that was a good adjustment from Dawber.
I think he's finding his feet and his confidence there. He's moving better, Kai Dawber.
And those shoulders have relaxed. You mentioned that little bit of stiffness, Adam. There's a bit more fluidity now.
Exactly. There's a rhythm to Kai Dawber, and look at this, trying to capture almost Ross McGuigan in that neutral corner and not let him out.
Yep, massive turnaround in this round, isn't it? Like we said, the fight was there to be won and lost going into this third round. And Dawber seems to have got hold of it by the scruff of the neck, working well, controlling the space well, and McGuigan pinned in that corner, but not really offering much in return. Seems quite happy to be there, but he's got to be careful, Dawber doesn't fake that jab downstairs and wing that right hand over the top, because that seems to be the shot he's looking for.
Yep, working well with that jab to the body. Back comes McGuigan. But there's not as much, and there's another body shot that's got in. He's complaining a bit. He's marked up now, Ross McGuigan. Will he begin to unravel?
Good use of the feet from there, Dawber, in those last couple of attempts that McGuigan's had to tie him up. It's just that we were saying before, just about that tiny step out. Don't allow him to grab onto you and you can carry on your work. Those are good adjustments from him.
Inside the last 30 of the third round.
Just throwing those shots and that little step out rather than falling in, much better from him.
It's tepid with the jab from McGuigan. It's been a big round this for Kai Dawber. Body shot right to the head. He's all over Ross McGuigan. And the third round is huge for the Wigan prospect.
Yeah, great performance there from Kai Dawber. He needed that round, by the way, as well. McGuigan seems to be having a good second round and maybe nick the second round, so it was all about Kai Dawber. And could he turn it back round, turn the screw and turn it in his favour? And the answer was yes. And that's what great fighters do, by the way. He's showing a lot of attributes here, Dawber, because after coming for a bad second, he's turned it back into his favour. And Ross McGuigan looked in all sorts of trouble towards the end and was happy to hear that third bell. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes out for this fourth round, because Dawber will come out flying, that's for sure. The momentum is definitely with him. How does Ross McGuigan act?
10 seconds,
well,
corners.
we're just about to find out.
Seconds out. Round 4.
Second half of this cruiserweight contest, and it's been a hotly contested. Kai Dawber getting the better of it, but Ross McGuigan having moments, especially in that second round. But the third round with that jab to the body, doesn't like that, Ross McGuigan. It's offsetting him and it's not allowing him to get his own counters back at Dawber.
No, solid look around Dawber now, isn't he, as he controls the centre of the ring. And it's McGuigan that seems to have unravelled a little bit here. Dawber throwing a 1-2, just misses narrowly with that right hand, but looks in complete control. Body shot goes in, heady shot goes in as well there.
Just gone into his shell, Ross McGuigan, looking to find some sort of respite maybe, because Kai Dawber looks physically strong and now he's relaxed and he's boxing well.
And this is something away fighters have to manage as well, isn't it? As I said, he's got plenty of fights lined up, McGuigan, after this. They're all paydays. So it's whether you take a risk and go toe-to-toe, can you go into survival mode, or is that putting more at risk? It's just finding that balance, and it's a real skill and technique to be able to do it.
That's a great point, Stacey. What is Ross McGuigan thinking? He's got those dates ahead, they're paydays. Is he going to try and see out the 6th round so he can take those opportunities even in the losing corner, or will he think this is a stage? We're live on talkSPORT here. We've got a big opportunity, a window here, and if he gets a victory over an unbeaten prospect, he's going to be invited back by Pat Barrett, isn't he, to come again?
Yeah, it's a difficult situation to be in, isn't it? And I think when you're in the middle of a fight and you've got to think about that, it's not the easiest thing to do, you know. Do I survive, get the next payday next time we're out, or do I try and go for it here? Because he knows he can hurt McGuigan. He done that in the opening round, but he hasn't built on that, and things just seem to be slipping away from him now.
You don't just want to be a sitting target, do you? But also don't want to take too many risks either, and winning requires risk, doesn't it? So yeah, it's a difficult balance, but it's, seemed to take the sting out of it for a moment, but right back under fire now again.
Yep, no risk, no reward. You have to take that risk, and at the moment, round number 4 anyway, Ross McGuigan's been quite happy to sit back and sort of just try and get through this round. Not really much coming from him.
And that can be tough at 40 years old, Spence, as well, can't it, in terms of your legs, because maybe if he was younger, he'd be using every inch of the canvas now just to skip around, stay out of dodge when he needs to, but legs aren't necessarily up for that when you're 40 years old and you've So perhaps that's a factor, who knows?
I think he's had a go, Ross McGuigan, holding on there at the end, and he might just see out these next couple of rounds.
Well, it's not going to be easy, Adam, that's for sure. As he went back to the corner, he looked very tired, bleeding heavily from the nose. The corner are going to have to do a good job to motivate him and get out for these last 2 rounds, because they're not going to be easy. Dawber will want to showcase what he's got, build on that knockout percentage. 7-0 so far, 2 of those inside the distance. He's going to want number 3, and to do that, he's going to have to turn the screw against quite a stubborn Ross McGuigan. But the guy did look tired when he come back to that corner. Interesting last couple of rounds here.
10 seconds, corners. Seconds out. Round 5.
5th round. Dawber's 25. And it's the 31st session of his young professional career. Good age for a cruiserweight.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's all about learning, developing, moving on. Oh, lovely 1-2 there from Ross McGuigan. Landed a short left hook, right hand followed by that, and he... See a little injection there, a little warning there to Dawber. It's just almost a switch off.
Spencer, it's almost like when he gets a shot off and there's a bit of hope, he'll go for it for just 10-15 seconds or so.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he'll reckon, oh, big right hand there from McGuigan.
Yep, maybe he fancies it again. It looked like he would shut up shop, Stacey, but he's still very lively.
Yeah, in the corner are shouting at him, don't square up. So just wanting him to keep his shape, keep his form. McGuigan, that is.
Both of them almost talking to each other, shaking
heads. That haymaker, didn't it? And I think they were
laughing about it. McGuigan was actually laughing about it.
Glad it missed, and Dawber was acknowledging that it didn't quite land it. But yeah, there's great respect between these two. It's been fought with a really competitive spirit, hasn't it?
It has, and the referee's let them get on with it, hasn't he, Spencer?
Yeah, but he has. Yeah, we really like that, Adam, don't we? Like, we know, good sportsmanship. The referee has stayed out of it as well. Both guys are respecting each other, but also going for it here. Lovely little contest, this one, in the cruiserweight division. We're in the penultimate round, round number 5. Dawber, on my card anyway, Adam, there seems to be a mile in front, but McGuigan looks like he's got that shot that could turn it around, and that's the intrigue in this.
Good body shots, though, again from Dawber, and just puts the sustained quality together, maybe where Ross McGuigan hasn't. And that jab to the body's been a weapon all night long.
Yep, solid jab. He's been throwing that not as a rangefinder, but as a scoring shot. It's been effective to the body and the head. It's also kept McGuigan at bay.
Turn southpaw. The man from Peckham, he's come a long way up for this opportunity. How much does he want it? What's the ambition like? Good work with the right hand from Dawber, who is definitely well in front on the card.
Yeah, good work again there from Dawber, isn't it? He's got control of this completely now. McGuigan, I just believe, Stace, it is now about seeing through that final minutes, staying on track to box again next week or the week after or whenever it may be.
Yeah,
but it's been a good performance by McGuigan, to be fair.
He mixed it in the first 2 rounds, but definitely something shifted in that third. And when Dawber went through the gears, then McGuigan, you know, it's his livelihood, so it's a bit of a different element for him.
Stacey, you said something earlier about the opponents tonight and the matchmaking. All of them have been really good value for money, even where some of them have been lopsided, the 60-54 scorelines. It's not been like that.
No, not at all, and it does dampen the atmosphere when you get one after the other, where someone's just purely in survival mode. They don't offer much in return. It can become a little bit mundane when they're really predictable. But I don't think the scores reflect just the variety we've had here, the different styles we've had, and just how competitive these away fighters have made it
10 seconds, corners.
for a much better show.
This could be 60-54, 60-55, maybe 59-56,
Seconds out,
I think on your card.
I'm
You
flying
may have
all
given him
round.
around McGuigan. It's going to be, if he stays on his feet here, a victory definitely for Kai Dawber. But he's been good, Ross McGuigan. I think he's just been caught a little bit between whether he's meant to lose on points or whether he's meant to really go for it.
Yeah, been caught between that. Am I a journeyman or am I still a prospect? It's that sort of stage, you know, where he's had his moments, been entertaining, you know, delivered some good shots. Round 2 was a good round for him. He didn't really build on that, and that's respect to Dawber, who turned it back round. He just missed narrowly there with a right hand as well. But yeah, it's been an entertaining contest, this one.
Good work from Dawber late on. I like the fact that he's still got a spring in his step in the final round. It looks like he'll move up quite quickly, I think, to 8 and 10s.
Yeah, I think so, Adam. I think that, you know, he's ready for that now. I think this was the launch pad for that, to be able to move up into those 8s, into those 10s, taking on a former Southern Area champion who's mixed at a good level.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? An area title next or the one after, and maybe Black Flash can give him 3 or 4 fights in 2026 and yeah, move him towards maybe an English or British title shot next year.
Yep, totally agree with that. I think that now is the time, and this was the yardstick to tell you that.
He's coped with it well. Minute and a half to see it out, Kai Dawber. But I'm not sure he just wants to see it out. I think he wants to continue to showcase his skills. Just having a little ticking off. Is that for holding or something? He's getting tired anyway, Ross McGuigan. He wants to see this out, collect his money, and move on to the busy schedule that he's got planned.
Yep, and we've got a busy schedule as well, haven't we? Starting off with Moses Atauma tomorrow night.
Just a little bit. That kicks off. I think they start at 2:45.
They do. We go live on talkSPORT. You can watch us on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, or listen to us live on the radio from 8 p.m.
I think we'll be having our breakfast at the Co-op, won't we, tomorrow?
But you know what? The way my day's been is absolutely insane. It's been going from 8 a.m. this morning, and I tell you what, when I finish here, the way this show's going, I might as well go straight there.
What about your birthday presents?
What birthday presents?
Just sit next to Stacey and us. Well, that was, come on, I queued you up there.
A giant button
at ringside. You've been well looked after.
Yeah, I bloody have, mate. I have been in your company. It's been fantastic. And what a night it's been here at Bowlers Arena. Pat Barrett Promotions putting on a fantastic event live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Brilliant stuff from Pat, and we look forward to working with him, obviously, in the future.
Last 10 seconds, Kai Dawber will get the victory. It will be his 8th and his most important against a decent former Southern Area champion. There'll be a lot of respect. Watch this when the bell goes. These two will embrace. Have no doubt about that. Look at that. Really, really good. And it's what we love about this sport. And you know that when a fight's been fought as honestly and competitively and respectfully as that these two, look, they're still saying, let's have a beer together. Let's remember that moment.
Listen, it's the ultimate gladiatorial sport. Only them two have shared that moment. And trust me, you go to some dark places in those moments, you know, so you gain that respect for a guy that you've had to build up, you know, a lot of hate's a strong word, but a lot of dislike, and you've got to just get all these emotions in your head to get in the ring and fight him. And then once it's done, the respect you got is like you've just gained a brother, a family member, and that's the reality of it, because only them two that have been through that will share that moment, and that's where the respect comes from.
A sport like no other. All the unpredictable twists, turns, excitement, pain, anguish, the building of careers, the disappointments, the joys, all of it. Fighters have to endure, corners have to, trainers, managers, promoters, everybody close, family members. As we've seen, the fans tonight have been absolutely brilliant. And you know, Ross McGuigan's come a long way, and he put a real effort in there over those 6 rounds. He won't get the win. Kai Dawber will remain undefeated. Azaki will make.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. After 6 rounds of action, we go to David Mulholland's scorecard, which reads 60 points to 54 points in favour of your winner from Wigan, Dawber.
Dawber gets the victory in the co-main event over a tough and good competitor in fine wine Ross McGuigan, who gives us a fine exit fault in the top rope. But it is Kai who will move onwards and upwards. 25 years of age now from Wigan, part of Blundell's boxing gym. 2 years of pro, he's doing well.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he beat a good opponent there in Ross McGuigan. That's a good test for him at this stage of his career. He'll be pleased with that one. Moves on, stays undefeated, and on to the big next one. Yeah, that's been a great night for him, and I think our own Stacey Copeland has now caught up with Kai Dawber at ringside. Over to you, Stacey.
That was a tough first couple of rounds, but it seems that something just completely changed in the third, and you were totally dominant after that. What changed?
I think I just got to grips with how he was boxing. He was quite awkward, like back foot sort of style, so once I got used to that, figured him out, it was easy enough.
Well, he's been a former area champion. He has those sort of jerky movements which makes it difficult. What were the difficulties you found in there, and how did you overcome them?
I think it was more just, like you said, the jerky movements were on the back foot. Once I started double stepping in with a double jab to the body, backhand to the body, slowed him down, and then it was easier from there in the first 2 rounds.
And how have you found the whole thing this week? You know, having the press conferences and the weigh-in, and obviously this fabulous exhibition centre's sort of done up really well for tonight. How have you found that? Have you thrived in it?
Yeah, it's been a change for us. Like I said, we used to. I know this is still a small hall, but like your leisure centres and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a step up for us, but it's good to get us used to hopefully the big shows which we all want to be on. So.
And that's the importance of this, isn't it? Having an arena done out like this, that it's not going to be too daunting if hopefully you get those big opportunities. Is that what you're aiming for?
I think that's what everyone's aiming for, really. Who's in the game for the love of boxing. Everyone wants to be on them big shows and get out there and get seen to show the talent we have.
And in terms of the support that you've got behind you and here this evening in your team, any words for them?
Chirping up over there. Yeah, just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's come out to support me, and everyone who couldn't make it, who's watching the YouTube channel at home. Big thank you, couldn't do it without you.
Listen, I'm glad you've enjoyed the week, and hopefully it's setting up for bigger things to come, so congratulations on your performance tonight. Well done. Well done. Well done. See you later.
So, main event coming up shortly. Davies and Ellison. Should be a really good one in the light heavyweight division. And then Muhammad Ali has got into the ring. The young prospect doing well from the Midlands. Stacey's, I think, going to go and have a word with Muhammad, who's alongside Pat Barrett. I wonder if that's another fighter Pat's got his hands on.
Yep, well, we're just about to find that out. So let's go up to Stacey Copeland, who's in the ring with Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali with us now. If ever there was a great boxing name, that's certainly one. But you managed to secure the WBC Asia belt against Indabassi. What was that feeling like to get this title?
Oh, absolutely amazing. You know, Manchester were rocking that night. I want to thank, you know, Uncle Pat. He put it together. I signed with him 2 years ago. I had nowhere to go in boxing, and he opened the door for me, and he said, listen, in 5 fights time, you keep winning and you'll get a title shot. And I proved Uncle Pat right, won all my fights and won this.
We've got another title shot coming up, which we'll talk about in just a minute, but how important is it to have opportunities like this that Pat Barrett's offered to you when you didn't really have that direction, you wasn't sure what was going to happen, and now you've got plenty to fight for?
Absolutely. Look, Manchester rocking tonight. You know, there's a big show on tomorrow, but I think this is the real big show in Manchester. And Uncle's Pat's put this together. talkSPORT are doing an amazing job, and it's onwards and upwards. We're getting these opportunities on small hall shows, which are big shows, really. And credit to you, Uncle Pat. Well done, man.
Yeah, you know what? It's always a pleasure, especially when you get the opportunity to bring fighters through from nothing, from grassroots to where they are now, and now getting the backing of talkSPORT. It's thank you. It's brilliant.
Do you know what, Stacey, I don't know if you're aware, I've got an underlying health condition. I'm type 1 diabetic, and I've shown the world that, do you know, if a man opens a door for you, creates opportunities, grab them with both hands, and on 30th of May, I promise you, I'll be doing that again.
Well, you've had to wait because it was meant to happen on the 14th of February, but of course that was postponed. So the 30th of May now, Willie Gilheany for the IBO International. How excited are you, and what can the fans expect? It's going to be right here at Bowlers on the 30th of May. What can they expect?
Do you know, on 30th of May, they're going to expect a night like this again. Manchester rocking. And 30th of May, I become the IBO International Champion. And Uncle Pat, you're going to create more opportunities for me, aren't you?
100%.
No pressure. Couldn't really say anything else then, could you? But great opportunities for all the boxers tonight, and of course 30th May we get to do it all again. Anything finally you'd like to say?
I'd like to say once again, Black Flash have put an amazing show together. The fights have been absolutely amazing. Do you know what you expect on the big shows? The small hall shows, the name should be Bend. This is big time boxing in Manchester, and it's down to this man, Pat Barrett, doing big things in Manchester. Well done.
Yes, certainly. Plenty of love in here for Uncle Pat, and great to see what you're doing for the next generation. And we'll see you on the 30th of May, where hopefully you'll have a belt on that arm as well. So Willie Gilheany, IBO International, Muhammad Ali, 30th of May here at Bowlers. Thanks for chatting to us. Cheers. Good luck.
Muhammad Ali, and I think he's right, Spencer, about this small hall tag. I mean, I work with GBM, and they put the big production on, and Izzy Asif didn't like that, saying a small hall, because they're big shows, and Pat's put a really good one on tonight. You can see the screens, the production values, live on talkSPORT YouTube channel, just over the road, the hors d'oeuvre before the big night tomorrow at Queensbury. But we should remember, there's a real stage here for these prospects and fighters coming through.
Absolutely, it's about finding tomorrow's champion. I think that is the ultimate goal for Pat Barrett, who was a fine fighter himself and wanted to go back to the grassroots and develop and find that next superstar of boxing. You know, Manchester has history of producing great fighters. We talk about the late great Ricky Hatton, Anthony Farnell, Michael Brodie, and many, many more that have followed in those footsteps. And Pat's dream is to find one of those kids, bring them through on this platform, talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Look at the stage, look at the production. Well done, Pat Barrett.
And the fights have come thick and fast. The show has been ever moving. Pat Barrett's put on an absolute sizzler tonight. Really good atmosphere, fantastic fans, everyone's having a good time. And we haven't even got to the main event. Kyle Davies and Mickey Ellison. Before the guys come out, your thoughts about it? I'm really excited about Kyle.
Listen, I think Kyle is a special talent. I think that, you know, he is 11-0, 7-0 inside the distance. Mickey Ellison is the guy that will give him that test, you know, and I think that's what we're looking for here. Look through the card tonight, the card that Pat's put together. He's got a great eye, he knows the fights that you can bring in with different fighters, and Mickey Ellison has brought in to see exactly where Kyle Davies is at this stage of his career. But enough of me, and over to our MC, Aki.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our main event of the evening. 10 rounds scheduled for the vacant Commonwealth Silver Light Heavyweight title. Please welcome into the ring first from Darwin, Mickey Ellison.
Well, Mickey Ellison reached out to my Voice of Boxing channel this morning and said he could not wait for this opportunity. And the fact that Stacey and Spencer and talkSPORT, it's a wonderful moment this for a guy who's been around quite a long time. He's 35 now. He's had 24 fights. He's won 15. He's good. He's had a rough last year or two, but he's been in with some top fighters, top prospects like Billy Dennis, who I was talking to earlier today, who's on the show tomorrow night. Taylor Bevan, really hot, Hope from Southampton. You know what? I think this guy is really going to enjoy it tonight.
Do you know what? I was speaking to him before and he believes in himself for this, and he said this is my chance to prove that I'm still hungry. I'm not here to make up numbers. This is my chance to get back in there. And he's been there and thereabouts. He's been on some big shows, as you rightly say, Adam, and he's had a taste of it. He's not done yet, and this is his chance to show it.
Absolutely. Aaron McKenna is on that list. Leon Richards as well. You know, so that he has been in there with that caliber of opponent, so he won't be worried about Kyle Davies for sure. He'll see this as an opportunity to put himself right back in the mix.
Davies' toughest test yet, this, potentially.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent from Stoke-on-Trent, Kyle Davies.
Huge travelling support from Stoke. Is he one of the best kept secrets in British boxing?
Well, I can tell you one thing, Adam Smith has got one of the best ring walk music entrances in boxing, and the crowd are absolutely loving this. They've turned out here for Kyle Davies tonight.
He's a fabulous guy. He works so hard. His wonderful mum Claire, his trainer Joe, they're a tight team. Dressed in light blue, Kyle Davies enters the ring unbeaten in 11 fights. He wants to become a world champion one day, and he's doing it step by step. The building blocks are in place, and look at this, absolutely fantastic. He's got the almost aura of a champion in waiting, but he's such a nice guy outside the ring.
Absolutely. Listen, we've had him down in the talkSPORT building before, come on the show. A lot of charisma, was really warming. You know, he's a very affectionate, infectious guy. You know, you sort of gravitate towards him. There's a lot to like about him, and he can fight in the ring as well.
This contest is presented by Pat Barrett and Black Flash Promotions. We are now live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing for our main event of the evening, 10 rounds for the vacant Commonwealth Silver Light Heavyweight title. And this contest is proudly sponsored by Rival Gloves and Magna Projects. Ladies and gentlemen, your officials for this contest. Timekeeper will be Amjad Ditta, and your referee, who is also scoring this contest, is A-star referee Steve Gray. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we salute those about to do battle. Our boxers are ready for action. Our viewers, live and exclusive on talkSPORT Boxing, are ready for action. Let me ask you, bowlers, are you ready for action? Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black and white, and he weighed in at 12 stone 6 pounds and 4 ounces. He comes to the ring with 24 professional contests, including 15 wins, and 5 of those wins come by way of knockout. Presenting the former Central Area Champion and a former English title challenger from Darwin, Lancashire, Ellison! And his opponent across the ring fights out of the blue corner. He wears the blue and white. He weighed in at 12 stone, 8 pounds and 8 ounces. He comes to the ring unbeaten, 11 wins, no defeats, and 7 of those wins come by way of knockout. He is the fighting pride of Stoke-on-Trent, and he is the reigning IBO European champion and former Commonwealth silver light heavyweight champion, Kyle Davies!
Okay, let's have a cool break. We're going to take one step back. Don't throw any punches at the back of the head. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves.
So here we go, fight number 12 for the 25-year-old Kyle Davies, undefeated, 7 of those 11 wins by knockout. He sparred with the likes of Ben Whittaker, of Craig Richards, Callum Simpson, so many of the top light heavyweights, and they all rate him. But how will he do in this step up against the former Central Area champion, former English title challenger, Mickey Ellison, a decade older, more experienced, but has not had good form of late. Davies can punch. Aaron Bird found that out. Down a few times last time, and Bird was undefeated as Kyle Davies lit up the King's Hall in Stoke.
It was a really good performance. That was lucky enough to be ringside part of the commentary team for that, and he had him down twice in the third, once in the fourth, stopped him in the fifth, so once he's got the engines going, it was impressive stuff. And there was a good deal of pressure there. Adam, as you'll know, is following, as we can hear behind us, a coach load have come from Stoke at King's Hall in Stoke. Has that York Hall set up with the balcony up above. It was a cacophony of sound and handled it really well.
Yeah, he really likes a crowd, does Davies. He feeds off that, and he's got tremendous support here this evening. Mickey Ellison's been brought in to give him those rounds, give him that experience. It's going to be interesting to see how Kyle Davies deals with that.
It could be a really tough test for him. On paper, it ought to be a tough test. However, Adam mentioned at the beginning, he's coming off the back of a couple of really tough ones against obviously great opposition from the likes of Taylor Bevan, but so it depends what that's taken out of Mickey Ellison at 35, and sometimes you don't find out till you're in there. We shall see.
He's 115, that's more than Kyle Davies, Mickey Ellison.
His coach isn't here tonight either, Alex Matvienko from Elite Boxing Gym. He had a couple of fighters on tonight and he's unwell, so he's not been able to be here. So he's experienced enough for that not to put him off too much though, Ellison, but
he got to prove a couple of good right hands there though, Ellison. I will say that, the little warning for Davies there.
Yeah, good combinations from Mickey Ellison. Kyle Davies trying to get his jab going, and some neat looking hooks here. It's a fast start this from Mickey Ellison, who's putting Kyle Davies under a bit of pressure, and there's a touch of a toe-to-toe war in the opening round, and here comes Kyle Davies with these big punches. He hits hard. He's got thick, strong legs from riding horses since he was a kid, Kyle Davies, and he bangs pretty hard. So Ellison might just be wary of that, but it was a good spell for the man from Blackburn.
I tell you what, Adam, Ellison is going for it himself here, though. He's rolling the dice early as the first round here, because he's been caught with a few shots, and he's put it back on Davies as well.
Blood from the nose of Kyle Davies, so some early success here for Mickey Ellison. Kyle was saying that he was a bit nervous beforehand, and he's finding out that Mickey Ellison, well, he's a good professional fighter, and he's still got real ambition. What a first round.
Mickey Ellison was when I won the Commonwealth title in Zimbabwe. He was with us. He was fighting someone called Wesley McDaid, who was this big puncher. He had this massive reputation. They were expecting Mickey Ellison to get ironed out, as we say in the business. He knocked Wesley McDaid out in the first round with an absolute humdinger of a shot. So he does possess power. And I should add, we did visit a children's home whilst we were there. And there was a young lad with massive feet. Mickey Ellison has massive feet. He took his trainers off his feet and gave them to that young man and travelled all the way back to Zimbabwe in his boxing boots. So that says he's a real family man and a really good guy. I'll add that bit as a story for you.
Do you know what? They both are. They're both 100%, really good guys.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see, is that, role models like this who are in the spirit of the sport and are great ambassadors for it.
And we've seen that respect all through this show tonight from Black Flash Promotions, live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if that first round is anything to go by, well, we've got a cracking 10-rounder here, Spencer, at light heavyweight.
We really have, Adam. I think that going into this fight, Carl Davies started as the heavy favourite on most people's minds, but looking at Mickey Ellison there and the way he was throwing those shots from unpredictable angles, very unorthodox.
He's got those really wide Derry Matthews type shoulders, hasn't he? And he's just really unorthodox, unpredictable. He gets those odd angles and then just launches those big hammer backhands as well. So it's difficult to predict.
Absolutely, and I think that took Davies by surprise, and he's got through with a good jab there as well.
Yeah. Carl Davies trying to get his jab going, but Ellison's got these long arms and there's more blood to the nose for the Stoke man. Is that nose a real problem? Could it be broken? There's blood pouring out of it, and I think that could affect his breathing later on, but he's just trying to steady himself behind the jab, Carl Davies, and Mickey Ellison giving him no real respect in there.
Oh, big right hand from Ellison as well.
Bounces off the chin of Davies.
Good work rate, there's some volume coming from Ellison as well.
I like what Ellison's doing here. He's going right, he's gambling here, he's rolling the dice, and it took Davies by surprise.
Told you he's hungry. He sees this as his chance to get back up there, and he says, I'm not done yet. And he wants to prove it.
Stacey, there's a little subplot as well, because Carl Davies didn't make the weight yesterday. They took it away. The belts can only be taken back by Mickey Ellison. He didn't quite get down to the 10-7 mark. He weighed in at 12-7, sorry, he weighed in at the 12-8-8, so he was disappointed about that, said I've just got to get on with it and keep my unbeaten record intact. That might just give Ellison a bit more confidence.
Well, it makes you ask questions of what someone's preparation has been. Clearly it hasn't been bang on point if they haven't made weight, so it's the first duty of a fighter to make weight, isn't it, before you even step in the ring. So perhaps Ellison, that gives him a sniff of thinking he's got an even better chance, but
nice shot,
a big backhand there.
Yeah, Carl Davies, he's knocked out a couple with one punch. He's got real force behind that right hand, and when he plants his feet, you feel it. The jab's good, better work from Carl Davies, ripping in the body shots, and now Ellison's just got to be careful here, backed up on the ropes. This is a really good one.
It really is. Davies throwing the shots on the front foot, but Ellison looks dangerous on that counter punch, and he lands the big backhand right hand there from that unusual angle.
Well, you feel, Spence, as well, that if one of them gets the other one hurt, they're not going to hold back, they're going to go for it, but they've not quite had that opening yet. But this is on a knife edge, isn't it? You can feel the atmosphere is electric.
And I think that's more down to the durability of both guys, if I'm honest. Oh, big left hook there from Ellison as well. Davies comes back, and I tell you what, they're both soul-searching a little bit themselves already as early as the end of the second round there.
A wink from Carl Davies at the end of 6 minutes, as if to say we're going to have a right old fight tonight. Main event for you on the Black Flash Promotion. Stacey Copeland, Spencer Oliver. We're absolutely loving this. Andy Levada behind the camera over there. Fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
Amazing, and this is some of the action in that second round where no one really stamped their authority, no one really got hold of the round. Ellison had his moments, Davies come back with his moments as well.
But Ellison is looking dominant, isn't he? Because he's taking that centering position, he's pushing Kyle Davies back, and a lot of the volume's coming from him. It might not be perfect, technical, accurate shots, but he's looking dominant. But obviously, that said, Kyle Davies is more
10
technical,
seconds, corners.
really accurate.
I've just looked over at the light blue in the front row.
Second round.
Claire, Mum Claire, who does everything
Round
for Carl,
3.
chose the colour this time. They've had green, they've had purple, This time they're all in light blue and they don't look particularly happy. They're slightly worried about this start from Carl Davies, but you've got to give Mickey Ellison real credit. I think it's one apiece, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, one apiece at the moment. Both guys have had their successes, but the one that's been most impressive for me, and I think that's what Stacey Copeland was saying there, was Mickey Ellison. He's the one that surprised us all because
he's growing in confidence.
He is, Stacey, and that is the importance.
He will have had those questions in his head. He knows he's 10 years his senior. He knows he's coming off 2 tough losses against top-class opposition. You might be thinking in the back of your head, listen, I know this is my chance, I'm hungry, but you never really know. And I think he's growing in confidence here. He fancies it.
Yep, and that's always a danger when a fighter grows in confidence, gets into a rhythm, and there's that right hand again. Chopping right hand, followed by another one. And this is worrying times there for Davies.
Good combinations from Mickey Ellison, who's rolling back the years here in Manchester. He's come over from Darwin, Lancashire, not far. He's travelled, he's the underdog, and he's come in and he's giving it a real go here, and Carl Davies is being asked questions maybe for the first time.
Better from Davies there, where he took half a step back. He saw the double jab coming. He knew the right hand was coming, and he moved his feet out of range. He didn't have to sit in the pocket, take the shots, get too greedy.
He's getting that jab going again, which is lovely, that ramrod orthodox jab, but the nose is giving him trouble, and these right hands looping over from Ellison from different angles, as you've said, Spencer. I mean, it's just a really good fight.
It really is, you know. Two guys at different stages of their careers, but the styles have gelled beautifully, and it's absolutely making for a barn burner in here tonight.
There's a lot of factors that this one could come down to, because there's not a huge amount between the rounds, you feel. Both got different attributes and they're using them effectively, but if there could be a difference, it could be these combinations when Mickey Ellison puts them together, because they really do, they're eye-catching.
Yeah, cracking body shots from Ellison. Back comes Davies to the head. Carl Davies looking for the corkscrew uppercut. Really good action. Steve Gray, the very, very experienced referee, letting these two just get on with it, and the crowd are loving it.
He's talking to him quite a bit as well, Mickey Ellison, if you notice. He's just...
Right out from Carl Davies was an absolute cruncher, and Mickey Ellison did well to stay on his feet. 19 seconds left in the round, and that was a perler, and Ellison's legs are wobbly. Had an uppercut from Carl Davies, and this could be the chance, but the bell might save Mickey Ellison. He'll need this minute. That was a big moment in the fight for Carl Davies.
A massive moment in the fight, and he needed that as well. Things looked like they were slipping away from Carl Davies there. He was getting caught with silly shots from behind the jab. The right hands were landing as well, but out of nowhere he found that right hand, and that was the shot. Let's take a look at the action in that last round, and here we see it. Ellison having a good little spell, getting through with some shots, asking Davies some questions, and that was the good work there from Ellison. But let's take a look at the right hand that come from Davies, and we're just moments away from that. Here it is. The shot travels short down the pipe, and you see the legs go there. Ellison was in desperate trouble,
and he gets his legs back, Spence. It's in the back of his mind now, isn't it? So Kyle comes out with that momentum, knowing he can hurt him. Mickey knows that he can be hurt now. He's felt that power, so that could change the trajectory of this one now.
I've had the pleasure of following Joe Ellison, the excellent trainer, and Carl Davies for a few years now. I've got to know them and the family really well, and I've been ringside on a number of occasions, and that right hand has decked opponents, knocked them out, and Mickey Ellison did very well to get through and back to his corner.
And remember, these two have sparred lots and lots of rounds together, and that can, obviously sparring is different to fighting, but they know each other, they know what they bring because they've sparred lots of rounds. That can be a factor as well.
I've got to tell you guys, we haven't mentioned this yet, was a minute enough for Ellison to fully recover?
I'm not sure. Blood from the nose of Mickey Ellison. He looks open and his legs are just dipping ever so slightly. The ankles just didn't look quite solid there. The boots, the black boots of Mickey Ellison. Good jab from Kyle Davies, and he seems to have wrestled control of this early in the fourth. But what a scrap.
Yeah, it really is, and Davies showed a lot of character in there to turn this around. Things weren't going particularly his way. He was taking a few shots, but now he seems to have got it completely back in control. Is there any more twists and turns?
Short left hook from Kyle Davies following the jab. Good variety here. He's got his range and his accuracy. Ellison just looping with the punches, and there's not that much purchase in them. And Davies, Stacey has the ring.
Absolutely, and that was clearly a turning point in the third round, that massive shot. And as I say, psychologically, it's in the back of your mind that you know the opponent can hurt you. Kyle now has brought that momentum into this round, and he's taking his time, not forcing it, which is impressive. He's just trying to, he knows he can detonate that backhand now. And you do feel now that the tide has turned, and it's a matter of time before he gets caught again.
Yep, you do feel like that, but you don't
to keep Davies off, is he, Spencer?
No, he's not. Davies now in complete control. He's turned the screw, got hold of this by the scruff of the neck. But you know what the excitement about this contest is still? That Ellison still looks dangerous. And you think one shot, he could turn it around.
Talking to him in there, but at the end of a painful looking jab. And that's been the difference in this fourth round. The orthodox jab and an uppercut too from Kyle Davies. Just a little bit more in the armory and that edge in power. Oh, and he's hurt there. Body shot. Down he goes. Looks at his corner. I'm not sure he's going to get through. He shakes his head. It's going to be Kyle Davies by knockout in the fourth round. What a fight. What a win. And it is 12-0. And in the end, it was that variety, it was that accuracy and that power. But my word, Kyle Davies had a fight on his hands tonight.
But that's what we've been saying earlier, that it's great being technically sound, it's great being having that boxing IQ. Sometimes you need something else in your locker. That's what you need, and that is what Kyle Davies, and he did need it there. Yeah. He needed to turn the tide, he needed to make Ellison respect him to keep him off him, and he got the finish. The blood splattered on the phone of Adam Smith there to take home as a souvenir, but that's the difference, isn't it? That sometimes you have to have that big shot.
Absolutely, you need the big shot. And sometimes, like you say, you've got to take all those attributes away, like, you know, the boxing IQ and all that, and you've got to grind it out, grit it out, and show the character, show that mental strength, that psychological thing that you need inside to become a champion. And tonight, we've just found out that Kyle Davies has that, and that is another box ticked.
Kyle Davies has the equaliser, the power, knockout win number 8. He's got to be one of the heaviest hitters on the scene in the bigger weights. 25 years old, and he has come up the correct way through the small halls in Nottingham and in Stoke, the leisure centres. Now it's bowlers, live on talkSPORT YouTube with Black Flash, Pat Barrett and Joe Eccleston behind him. And you've got to think that Kyle Davies is going to have a big 26, and maybe in 27 he might be over the road at the Co-op trying to get a British title.
I'll tell you what, if you've got a shot like that, we saw Fabio Walton didn't do it. He was right under pressure. It didn't look like there was any way out for him. Having that kind of power and being able to time it correctly, pick the right shots at the right time, that can be the difference between titles and being mediocre, and Kyle Davies has just shown he's got that.
Stacey, he didn't have a big amateur career. He's learning on the job. He spars everywhere. Joe takes him around the country. I know Callum Simpson and him have had so many rounds of sparring. Craig Richards down to the Matchroom gym, all sorts. And it's paying off. Education, excitement. Kyle Davies delivers.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. With Ellison failing to beat the count, official time 2 minutes and 45 seconds of round number 4. Your winner by knockout from Stoke-on-Trent, Kyle Davies. And And also a big hand for his opponent, Mickey Ellison.
And since he turned over in 2022, Mickey Ellison was game, and he gave Carl plenty to think about. Pat Barrett with him, they can celebrate.
Yeah, sorry Adam, I was going to say Mickey Ellison showed a lot of heart in there today, didn't he? He had his moments and he tested Carl Davies, and Davies maybe had to go soul searching himself a little bit there and dig deep, maybe like he's never had to dig before, and he's found out a lot more about himself as well, and he puts himself in the mix of some brilliant division at the moment, the light heavyweight division. Obviously we got Willie Hutchinson and Ezra Taylor going at it tomorrow night in a fantastic light heavyweight contest, and he will feel now he's not too far away from that sort of level. Some great fights to be had out there for him, and he'd certainly earned that victory tonight. There we see the Commonwealth silver belt being presented to him, the IBO belt as well, family in the ring. The whole team there will feel very relieved. There were some worrying times there, but he come through with flying colours, and he's earned every little minute of this. The crowd here have absolutely loved it. The Bowlers Arena, a packed house. Pat Barrett Promotions have done an absolutely fantastic job, and Stacey Copeland is just about to join Kyle Davies in the ring now, and we're going to get his thoughts on what was an absolutely fantastic performance. And I think Stacey is now with Carl. Over to you, Stacey Copeland.
Kyle, first of all, congratulations. We were just saying in commentary there that we thought this could be the toughest test for you. It was looking that way, but then you found the equaliser.
Yeah, definitely. I knew it was going to be hard. I know how tough Mickey is, so that's why I weren't getting giddy. I saw my opening from early, so if they were there in round 1, they would have been there in round 10. So I just thought I'll keep hitting him, breaking him down, and just not get too giddy on it really. And I found the perfect shot again. So
you two have sparred a lot of rounds together. Does that make it easier or more difficult when you're preparing for an opponent?
No, do you know what? It was years ago. I knew I was a different fighter, so I just didn't take anything from them old spars, and I just treated it as a new opponent, fresh.
Mickey Ellison's been around a long time. He's 10 years your senior, and he's been in there with top-class opposition as well. What does this say about your stage of progression at this point in your career, what you've just done to Mickey Ellison?
Well, you know what? I've done it better than other people, so, if I've just gone and stopped him in, 3 or 4 rounds? Some people have been the distance, some people it's 2:10, some people, it's too longer. So, I mean, it just speaks for itself about me saying I've only had 7 amateurs, and I'm doing better than people that have had triple my fight. So I just let my performances speak, and then I'll just take the opportunity when I get it.
Well, the first defence of the Commonwealth silver, obviously I've got to ask you, what's next? What's the plan?
Well, up to now, the matchmaking's been perfect, so I've just got to keep trusting. Like I've always said, I trust my team, I do what they say, so whoever it is put in front of me, I'll just get the job done again.
I know you've brought a coach load from Stoke. We've been able to hear them all the way through. What do you want to say to them?
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming out again. We're always the best, always the loudest, so yeah, nice one everyone, and thanks to the sponsors, Pat, Joe, Steve, everyone is in my corner, Lee. Without everyone I couldn't do it, so yeah, thank you.
Well listen, job done in impressive fashion as well, a great stoppage. Go and enjoy it with all of your fans, and well done, Kyle.
Stoke fans celebrate. Kyle Davies wins with a brutal 4th round knockout of Mickey Ellison. It was a firefight, and it was a great end to what's been a great night here in Bowlers, live on talkSPORT YouTube. Brilliant.
Yeah, been absolutely fantastic. Now don't forget to tune in to talkSPORT tomorrow from 8 p.m. We're live from Moses Atama and Jermaine Franklin. An amazing undercard as as well. From myself, Spencer Oliver, him, Adam Smith. It's my birthday and time to get a drink.
Happy birthday, Spencer Oliver, and thank you all for tuning in. Stacey Copeland, Spencer and I checking out, and the party begins in Manchester, and it's going to go on all weekend, live on talkSPORT and the Zones.